taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, it's your boy T.O. as you know.
It's your boy O-Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yep, it's the motherfucking Fade Podcast, the one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any of the goddamn thing we want to talk about, coming to you live direct, Proof of Concept Studios. What the fuck is up?
Today's been a tragic day for those for those hip-hop, rap, music lovers. So I wanted to start off the show by just saying, if you haven't heard, Memphis rapper Young Dolph was shot and killed today outside of a cookie shop in Memphis. Where the fuck is Memphis anyway?
Tennessee.
Yeah, I knew that.
Thanks.
So he was shot and killed. Unfortunate incident. There's so much we don't know about it because, like, shortly afterwards, another rapper, Yo Gotti, I think he has a restaurant called like Privé or something like that in Memphis, and that was shot up. And then there's another rapper, Young Blacksta, all in the same day. And now, great, like a lot of these reports, some of them haven't been confirmed by the police department.
Yeah,
but Yo Gotti's, I think it's his mother's restaurant. Like, they shut that down. They have like security around there. So there's a lot going on in Memphis right now. But I just wanted to start off the show by saying, rest in peace to rapper Young Dolph. Adolph Robert Thornton Jr. was his full name, born July 27th, 1985. He passed away today, November 17th, 2021.
Yeah, dude. When will it stop, man? And I obviously, I can answer my own question. It's never going to stop. But, it's crazy, man. Like, you hear stories like this, and I think the first thing that always sort of like runs through my mind is like, what could be that crazy or wild in your life that you're just like, fuck it. I see this dude out here shining. Let me cut him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, jealousy is a powerful thing. I mean,
it is.
Jealousy can make smart people do some of the dumbest things, right? Or, jealousy can make dumb people do just insanely dumber things, right? So like anyone's susceptible to it. And I think everyone's experienced like jealousy at some point in your life, right? Whether you're jealous of the person at your job that like got a promotion or pay raise or something like that. You're jealous of like your ex's old person or their new whatever, right? But to take your jealousy out and be like, yo, let's go kill this motherfucker because we're jealous of their success, like that I don't understand. Just work harder.
And obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into it. We could talk about the especially in the Black community, obviously the income inequality and those type of things, as well as just like, I always talk about PTSD, right? Like, a lot of times we talk about mental health in just the vein of, privileged people, like, oh, you need to go get a therapist or whatever. But, a lot of these kids are growing up, man, especially in the Black communities, especially in poor Black communities, who are basically growing up in war zones, you know what I mean? So that's really all you fucking know. That's all you're used to seeing. So it's nothing to take a life.
Us, picking up a gun and going to kill somebody,
it's wild.
But I will say in like certain communities and to certain people, it's just like,
that's just a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck it. Like I don't care. Like I've never been taught to like value human life, my life, or my circumstances.
And you hit the nail here. There, value your life, because it's it is a thing, right, to value others' lives, right? Like that's something that you should do, right?
Yeah. But
even in these circumstances, it's like, yo, that shows how much you don't value your own life, because, dude, high likelihood that you're going to get caught, right? Unless you killed Tupac and Biggie, apparently they just can't catch those people. But generally speaking, you're probably going to get caught up, especially if it's a higher profile thing like this. And so in that case, this is like, yo, do you not value your own life enough to just think twice about that? To be like, you know what, this ain't that serious. I don't need to pull this.
Especially the people who do it and like who have like if you have a kid, if you have a family, if you have like any type of like goal or ambition,
even if you don't, what I'm saying is just for your own freedom.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I mean? Just for your own like then that's one thing I've always been appreciative of like my own life is like, dude, I've done some pretty stupid things in my life, but one thing I can be thankful, like I can go back to the younger me and say thank you for, is never doing something so bad as to just basically forfeit my future.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I've done some things.
Listen, you don't even have to tell me.
I've done some things that have landed me, that have gotten me arrested for sure. But if you've never been arrested, then you haven't had fun. That's my philosophy.
Okay.
If you've been played it too safe, like live a little. I didn't lose that much. The most I ever spent was like 2 days. You know what I mean? That's not too bad. Yeah, I'm back out in the streets.
For everybody listening out there, he's talking crazy. Don't do anything that fucking get you arrested. I don't care what.
Don't kill anybody.
What the fact that you had to sit there and think about that,
unless they had it
what
coming.
The fuck? Okay, let's get back on brand here with this topic here. Look, terrible fucked up situation. Obviously, I'm woefully just disconnected from newer music, right? So I'm not familiar with Young Dolph's music.
He's not a Young Dolph, been around for like 10 years.
I stand by my statement, okay?
Old head. That was an old head comment right there. You aged yourself. And now fair. Our listeners know exactly how old you are.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. And probably my musical taste is probably it's probably 10 years older than I actually am, right?
I remember like it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, you hit me up like, yo, I just found this new Childish Gambino song, like Summer. What was it called? Like not summer.
No, that just came out recently. But my point was, it came out recently in like the last like 3-4 years. Is what I'm saying, right? But the reason why I is because I heard it when it first came out. I kind of dismissed it, and then it was just like, I don't know. This must have been like around summertime or whatever that I sent you, like that we were exchanging text or whatever. And I just remember in that moment, I was just feeling a vibe. I was like, oh shit, this is a vibe right now.
Imagine having felt that vibe when the song first came out in 2018. It was a bigger vibe then.
That's fair. Okay, look, fuck. All right, you keep distracting me from my main point here. My main point, man, is that, yo, like if you're out there, and I obviously know this is probably falling on deaf ears, because who am I to judge somebody else's life in terms of what they're going through and trying to be like, you shouldn't do X, Y, or Z. It's like, well, shit, I haven't lived your life, so how the fuck am I supposed to tell you? But what I can tell you is this: your life is more valuable than pulling a trigger, right? That there is nothing going on. I guarantee you, whatever's going on in your life, it's all repairable. It's all fixable. It's all, whether it's financial, whether it's your mental health, those type of things, you can always bounce back. But the moment you pull that trigger, the moment you do these things that are like, forget the judicial aspect of it, of perhaps doing time, if you should, either kill somebody or attempted killing or whatever the case is. But think about what that does to your psyche. If you should take a life, it might not be today, it may not be 2 weeks from now, it might not be 10 years from now. Sometime that's going to fucking eat you alive at some point in life. Yeah. You're going to have to suffer the mental repercussions of that. Don't do that.
Whether they're conscious or subconscious too, right? Because I feel like there are a lot of people out there that have probably killed several people, and like they seem on the surface very normal, and even to them, they may be able to sleep perfectly fine at night. And the again, to your point, like it may not come 5-10 years from now. It may be just down the road at some point in time. You're gonna have to deal with that trauma. It's unfortunate, man. I love Young Dolph. I love his music. I listen to his music all the time. I have a gym playlist, and it's mostly Dolph and Moneybagg and Yo Gotti and all those guys and Meek Mill. So this is unfortunate.
Yeah, man. Like I remember when we heard about Nipsey, man, I think either we were on or we just heard about Nipsey right before we went on. I can't remember exactly how it all sort of played out.
Because I think it was like the day before we did a podcast or something like that. Because we heard about Kobe when we were on the show. Yeah, and we didn't believe that. Yeah, but I do want to switch gears for a second and talk about something else, which sticking to like the music theme or musicians theme. We didn't really get to talk about this last week, but what are your quick thoughts Astro World, the whole Travis Scott incident, because it was announced, I think today or yesterday, that there's been a $750 million lawsuit filed against Travis Scott, Drake, and Live Nation, as well as like Apple Music, right? And what's happening right now is...
and I have not read enough about this to understand, why is Drake even involved? I don't understand.
So Drake was there performing at the concert.
And that's it? He wasn't on stage? He wasn't...
I think it was during their set, like during them doing... what is that big song that they have where it's Travis Scott and Drake?
I can literally hear it in my brain.
Yeah, I can hear it too. I just can't think of the name. But you know the song.
Yeah.
So I think they were performing that song is like when like the crowd got like the most hype and unruly and out of control, and that's when like the stampedes happened and people got trampled, which now I believe has left a total of like 10 people dead. The youngest being like a 9-year-old
too. Yeah.
So the reason I'm questioning this is like, I get it. I know what's going on here, right? It's like the families are mourning, and now like these stars are essentially like a target, right? And I know when I say target, to a lot of people that's insensitive, because a lot of people attribute what happened directly to Travis Scott.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people. I think that like the artist on stage performing a concert, and Travis Scott's concerts are known to be like rough and rowdy and insane, right?
Yeah,
that is how he likes it.
The thing about that is that like usually sicko mode. Shout out to the person in chat right now that put that in there. I appreciate that. The thing about it is like that would kind of be my reaction too. Is like it's not really on the artist, but when you're known for that and you're known for like kind of instigating that, I think you do definitely have some culpability in that, right? Like it is sort of not, I don't think that entire situation was his fault, and I'll get into like kind of like the reasons why here in a sec, but I think you have some responsibility.
Sure. And I think like, cause like what that is like inciting a riot, right?
Yeah.
Inciting the crowd. You're like riling them up. We know what mob mentality does to people. And when you're just like, keep going, keep getting rowdier and rowdier and rowdy, people are going to do it. Now, here's where I draw like the line of responsibility and like who actually is responsible for this thing. While Travis Scott may have incited the riot and he may have like been, his concerts are known to be like this, right? And people come, but also the people who go to his concerts, they like it that way too. They want to go to the rowdy Travis Scott concert, right? Now, throughout the course of these events, not to be insensitive to any of the people who've lost their lives or their families, right? But like 10 people were essentially trampled and ran over and lost their lives, right? Yeah. Not one of those people was trampled by Drake or Travis Scott, right? Because those were the artists performing on stage. And when you're on stage, like I'm not sure if you've ever been on like stage at any big concert venue. It is very difficult to see what's going on out in the crowd, right? Yeah. Now, granted, when you see police lights, maybe you stop the show. If you see the audience getting too rowdy, maybe you stop the show and say, all right, hey guys, like, everybody take care of each other, make sure everyone's good. Like if you see someone next to you who needs help them out, get some water. All right, bam, let's keep the show going, right? But you imagine how many shows these artists do a year? They may do like 100 shows. You can't stop everyone because you see a little something going on in the audience, right?
I mean, but that begs the question, should you?
Man, like
I think so. I think so. I think it's worth it, dude. If it can save a life, right? If it's between pausing the show for somebody who passed out, but they're fine, but they're not dying or dead or anything, but they passed out and they're fine. I think it's worth it to be like, whoa, what's up with that dude right there? You know what I mean? Like, let's figure it out. Now I understand that you could pass out for a number of reasons, right? Doing drugs, you just lose you're not able to get enough oxygen in you or whatever the case is. I understand there's a lot of reasons, but I do think it is worth it. Now, this is kind of where, unless you probably had a little more, right, that you wanted to say? Yeah,
just a quick thing. And I completely agree with you on that, right? Like, as an artist, if I am performing on stage and if I see someone in this, someone hurt, someone passed out, someone throwing up, stop the show and make sure they're okay. But I can only see as far as I can see out, right? There's stage lights, there's stadium lights. My purview may only be within 20 to 30 feet of me, right? I can't see what's going on in the back or to my far left or my far right. So if I don't see all of these things, like how can you hold someone responsible for what they didn't see? But again, like to make this short, there are people who are at home right now who are at the Travis Scott concert who know that they trampled over someone, who know that they stepped on someone, who know that like when they were running to buy the Astro World t-shirt, they may have pushed someone over, and that may be one of the people who passed away. And there are people out there who are actually physically responsible for causing some of this hurt and damage, who like, those people will never be held accountable more than likely, but who's the easy target? The big artists, Travis Scott and Drake. But again, I just don't see, I don't think like a lot of people think that the responsibility is on them and solely on them. Right. It's not.
I don't think it 100% isn't solely on them, right? Like, I don't think, you know, you can, and I think that what I'm starting to see is like now I saw like SZA made a comment at her concert, a little thing about Uzi Vert. Now Uzi Vert was wild, and he had a thing where basically he was like, oh, if you don't think you can handle this, then get the fuck out. If you think you can, then stay. Let's keep it pushing. And it's just like, my dude, chill.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Even if you think that, don't say it. Don't say it. We're recording.
There's some things that you just want to keep to yourself. But so I think there's some blame to the artist, especially if you instigate this, right? Especially if you see something happening in the crowd, people are rushing, maybe you see somebody pass out, you can't make out every face. I've been on stage too, right? Sometimes when you're on stage, it's hard to point to like one person, right? Like and there's fucking lights everywhere. You can't quite see exactly what the fuck is going on. But at the same time, sometimes you do, you know, sometimes you do see a person who's like fucking wigging the fuck out and you're just like, yo, let's get that person some help, right? It's definitely not all on the artist, but who it's definitely on are the people around the artist, meaning that it's about the venue, it's about the police, it's about all these other things around it that allow this to happen. Like at that Travis Scott at the Astro World event, there should have been a coordination between the people who run, you know, Live Nation or whatever the fuck it is, and like the venue. Like there should have been a coordination of like, well, how many people can we actually fucking handle here, right? Because once it gets to a certain amount of people, you can no longer reasonably guarantee everybody's safety, right? Like at some point you're just like, this is too many people for us to do anything with. And I believe that's what it was with Astroworld. It's just too many fucking people for you to like, what are we gonna do? Like, what's the thing where if they all decide right now to fucking rush on stage and do all sorts,
you can't
how would you stop them?
Even if there are police there and security there,
it's impossible.
That is what I think most people don't realize, is that like, so I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like straight up like, yo, this is like 100% Travis Scott's fault. Like he sold too many tickets to the concert.
Well, he doesn't exactly
sell the tickets. I'm like, do you think Travis Scott was like, yo, like buy tickets directly from me? Like I'll meet you on the corner and here, let me sell these 100,000 tickets. No,
but and here's me just playing, you know, here's me playing advocate on both sides, is that like he may not be the person who's selling the tickets, but at the same time he's the person who's okay with that happening, right? So as an artist, I feel like you do have to be involved somewhat, because otherwise they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want in your name. That's your name that's out there. That's not
the crowd feeds off their energy for sure.
Manager, you know, whoever the fuck is. That's not the venue. I mean, I guess the venue name is always gonna be there, but they're coming there to see you, right? So in that respect, you have to at some point be involved somewhat in those type of decisions, right? Because they're going to try to make as much money as they fucking can off of you, right? But whatever's done, just like it's happening now, whatever's done in your name, you're going to ultimately have to pay the price for. Now people are nervous to go to Travis Scott's concert. People will still go to concerts at Live Nation. They'll reopen as soon as, I'm sure they're reopen now, right?
Yeah.
But it's done in your name, right? Now,
and again, I think that would be rough though, right? Because like, let's say you're an artist and you're doing 100 shows a year, and how much can you really know about these 100 shows? How much can you really be involved in like ticket sales and
I'm not saying that you have to like manage that, but you have to be aware somewhat, right? I'm not saying that that's your job. It's like the CEO of a company, right? It's not your job to know the minutia of everything that's going on, right? But you have to at least either appoint people who you trust, who's saying you're going to do the responsible thing, not just the financially profitable thing, but you're going to do the right thing. Or you have to be aware enough to say, okay, I know these are our pressure points, right? I know this is a thing that if it happens, it's not going to be good for business.
I can agree with that
overall, right? Because again, it's done in your name. That's your shit out there, right? again, what's happening right now is now people are turning to Travis Scott. But this goes to something else that I see right now, right? SZA made comments. Now you got Lil Uzi Vert. Now what's interesting to me is that they're doing a lot of black artists, right? But it might be something new to me. Maybe we just talked about, how, antiquated my taste in music is. Dude, mosh pits, that was always like the rock shit. That was always like the
Woodstock was known for like
shit.
mosh pits and people getting hurt, people breaking arms and limbs, and
it's new to me that's like a Travis Scott thing. That's like I knew his type of music is like a little different and probably hits a little different demographic than other black artists maybe, but that scared shit out of me. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it's probably my dogs. But it's so weird seeing what the narrative is now. Is now they're like, oh, well, it's almost like they're saying it, but not saying it. Like, well, this rap music is a little rowdy. It's like,
and let's be real, the primary demographic at a Travis Scott concert is like young white kids, right? Like that. So it's not necessarily about like the music or the genre of music. It is about
that's what I believe, but how it's being portrayed right now. And again, people are going to SZA for comments. People are keeping an eye on Lil Uzi Vert, and it's just like, I don't see fucking, I don't know, a country artist. I don't know who the fuck.
No one gets
Kenny
Rodgers
Rodgers.
Taylor Swift concert. Everyone's just sad. I guess. Oh damn, she broke up with somebody else. Like damn, she just broke up with some other guy. The last song. Every song of Taylor Swift is she breaks up with some guy. It's like pussy must be trash.
Jesus Christ.
Shout out to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Was he dating her? Is that what that whole thing is? Yeah. Why would Jake seems like a smart enough dude? Why would he do that? He has to know that that's how it's going to end up. Like
that's what happened to the last 12 guys.
At this point,
I think she's a tarantula. Like she is it, or like, is it a female praying mantis that like whenever she mates with like a male, she just she beheads them.
That's
what
man,
Taylor
I'm not
Swift
even
is
mad
doing.
at Taylor Swift. Hey, do you boo? But
I mean, it's great content for the album, for writing music, right?
There's like
I broke up with Mysterio.
There's a formula. there's like a formula, right? You date somebody, write an album about them, sell fucking mad albums, right? And then fucking,
but they gotta be high profile enough,
like, exactly, right?
Who's next? Whoever's gonna play the next Bond, she's gonna date him. Because then you got 3 new albums.
She's keeping her eye on Loki. Was it Tom Hiddleston?
Tom Hiddleston.
She's keeping her eye on him.
She's like, you know what? Is
Idris Elba married? Did date him. She might have already dated him.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. He's song number 13 on the album.
But anyways,
guys, you know what she's doing right now? So the new record label, they basically got a bunch of investors, like whoever owns the record label, and the guy, the CEO who bought it up, he promised them that, hey, we're gonna make a bunch of money off of Taylor Swift and everything. She offered to buy back all her masters. He said no. She went ahead and re-recorded all of the albums again, or at least 2 of them, and
smart.
She is making bank. Like, she is killing it, and he's getting nothing.
Smart.
He's losing all the investors and everything.
Shout out to T Swift.
Good for her.
Shout out to T Swift. Smart play.
That's what Ashanti's doing right now. She's re-recording her first like 2 albums.
Mad.
He's mad as fuck.
He is mad. He's like, God, I'm not going to be able to eat off these masters. I'm like, yeah, nigga, that's pretty much the point. And
I don't know if you saw her interview, but brilliant. What she's doing is really smart. Shout out, Taylor Swift too. Like whatever about you may say about her music, it's not my particular taste, but like she has an audience.
A couple of tracks I fuck with.
She delivers.
There's a couple of tracks.
She's had some hits. I'm not gonna lie about that. I would never listen to her album. But brilliant business move. So you know what? Like, okay, you own that version of the album. I'm gonna re-record and sell my version of the album. So whenever people go to like find my music, they're gonna find mine's the ones that I own, not the ones that you own. So it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and I still don't understand this whole shit with masters. Like, but anyways, like we don't need to really dive into. Let's get into some movie shit because we have been talking about a lot of other shit outside of movie shit. Look, let's jump into some this week, next week, and then we'll get into some just like headline shit, just general shit that we want to talk about. Look, coming out this week, we got Ghostbusters Afterlife. Are you looking forward to that?
I hear Paul Rudd's performance in this movie is stellar. He's getting like a lot of like
sexiest man alive.
Yeah, got sexiest
Put some
man
respect
alive.
on that name.
Does not fucking age, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he does.
So do I think this would be great? A really good movie? Yes. Like, am I gonna go to the theaters to see this? No. Like, if my daughter was a little bit older, you know, and it was like age appropriate, I would have taken her to see it for sure.
It'll be age appropriate. I don't think they're gonna have hardcore sex scenes in.
No, but there's like ghosts
Afterlife.
and really scary monsters, and she's 5, so it's like, you know, I don't want
Ghostbusters, dude.
dude 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like kids, they get
Wait. So, but you let her watch cartoons and stuff, right? Is she watching Yu Yu Hakusho?
No. So my daughter, she's mostly just watching like fun Disney stuff, like funny stuff, not like. Nothing with any like fighting or action or ghosts or monsters or anything like that.
And you're sure of this, that she's not watching anything else?
Her favorite show right now is the show called Jessie, which is just like a sitcom, a kid's sitcom comedy thing.
Is it like Friends? Is that what it is?
It's like
imagine a young version of Friends.
Imagine Friends, but like, you know, everyone's like 9.
Terrible. Yeah.
And then there's this other show she's watching called fucking Raven's Home. You know, like the rebunk, or not rebunk, but like, you know, like the continuation of That's So Raven.
Sure.
So she's watching that. So like nothing really too scary, but I think like if I were to take her to see this, she may have like, oh, I can't sleep, I had a nightmare, blah blah blah.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Otherwise, I would.
Yeah. In any event, I'm actually not excited about the movie, but I'd want to see that. I don't know if there's just so many movies right now that it's like I have like a backlog of like 4 or 5 movies that I
still haven't seen Bond.
I haven't seen Bond, dude. I haven't seen Eternals. I haven't seen anything, dude. Anything that requires me to physically go to a theater, I simply have not seen. I'm sorry. I just, I cannot bring myself. I just want to do it all in one day. I just want to take one fucking day and be like, all right, I'm just going to see all these fucking movies back to back. Probably sneak in, probably get kicked out at some point. But I do want to just take that risk. And I know I just started a podcast off talking about
weren't you just
how you
shitting? Very conflicting advice.
I can redeem. You can be redeemed from sneaking into a fucking theater. That's not a life ender.
I don't know, man. AMC
depends on what you do on your way out, I guess.
Yeah, AMC needs every dollar. Like, yo, if they shut down theaters again, like, we don't know. So Tunde, we're gonna need that money, or you're doing 25 to life.
So Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out. King Richard. Looking forward to that. I think Will Smith is I'm looking forward to seeing his performance in there.
I just hope Jada don't say. Leave that man alone, Jada.
No, you see, everybody who's talking. This is what I really do.
You're on Jada's side?
I'm not on anybody's side. I think it's just weak as fuck, right? Everybody who's like, man, look what she did to Will. The fuck's wrong? The last time I fucking checked, Will Smith is perfectly fucking fine. Like,
for sure. Just leave that man business out off of from the red table.
No. But even if it's on the red table, people are acting like Will Smith isn't a human fucking being. They act like Jada isn't a human being. In a regular fucking relationship, or not even just a regular relationship, in any relationship, you're going to have issues.
Sure, yeah, of course.
What do you think? Will's just like the fucking king of sex, and he's just fucking knocking it down every night, no problem. You don't need to talk about it. He just sticks it in, and it's all good. No.
Yeah, but baby, I got a movie coming out. I need them to think that I'm laying pipe every night.
Yeah, this is like 20 years later. Like, he'll be
fine.
Still,
I got a movie coming out. I need them to think I'm slaying.
You're misunderstanding.
That's bad publicity.
You're misunderstanding the time we're in. We're in a time where they want you to be more human, right? This person, like Tom Cruise, for instance, right? People are obviously we'll see whatever fucking crappy ass Mission Impossible movie he'll crap out. Although they haven't really been crappy. That was an unnecessary shot. Yeah. They've been okay.
He's delivered.
They've been pretty decent. But we'll see whatever movie he puts out. But we don't fucking know Tom, right? Tom's a fucking mystery. He's a Scientologist. His face looks like it's fucking like morphing in real time on us. Like, we don't fucking know Tom, right? But Will's relatable, right? We will fuck with Will because we know Will's a fucking human being. And what is everything with this social media if not an attempt for us to humanize people?
Listen, I get everything you're saying right now, but if I couldn't get hard last night, bitch, you better not run to the motherfucking red table and then spend an hour talking about how I couldn't get hard last night with you and your girls in front of 100 million live streamers.
I don't have a problem with her talking about it. I do have a problem with people being like, man, look what she's doing to my man Will, acting like they don't fucking have the same fucking issues at home, man. Stop fucking lying, all right? Stop lying.
But it's not about that. It's about like certain things. Like,
no. Are you really fucking worried about Will Smith's bottom line? Are you worried about his net income from King Richard?
No.
Like, so then what the fuck are we talking
about?
What
I'm talking about is like, I just be feeling bad for the dude sometimes. Like,
why?
God damn, she be airing out all of their shit.
Would you even with Jada airing them out, probably airing them out double than what she is now, right? Would you have a problem switching lives with Will Smith right now? The answer is no. So shut the fuck up.
Let's
keep it moving.
Because when you at the red table, I might be knocking something else down since you talking shit.
But and again, that's another thing too. Is just like everybody's talking about, oh man, Jada's doing this. Like we know that they basically have like an open relationship, right? Will's probably done hella dirt, just ain't saying shit about it, right? So what the fuck are we even talking? Like, why are like I don't understand. I genuinely don't get this.
You do understand.
I don't fucking get it, dude.
In one instance, someone is being very publicly open and not always the best light about their partner. In the other instance, the other person isn't saying anything. No, I've never heard Will come out and say anything like negative about Jada, their sex life, their marriage, like how boring their marriage is, or how like the sex isn't great or whatever. Will is yo, I'm like making movies, paying the bills. And I got King Richard coming out.
Yes, he's a saint. Yeah,
not saying that, but like I just feel like in any relationship, sure, it's good to talk about. You have to talk about your relationship with your friends and family. But like sometimes the shit she be saying, I just be like, yo, if I was Will, come here, sit the fuck down. We gonna talk.
Yeah, I just don't have a problem with that. I get that in terms of like, yo, stop airing our shit out like on fucking national programs and shit, right? Just stop that, right?
In 28 countries.
In 28 countries. I get that sentiment, but also their lives aren't our lives. So meaning that, and the thing that is, I talked about this last week with Rodgers, right? Is narratives, right? We look at it like, so earlier this morning I was on a program and I was talking about the baby, and I have no idea about the situation. I don't really know that much about the baby. Or Danny Lay.
Did you say the baby?
The baby.
Okay.
The baby, right?
Yeah. I thought you said the baby.
No. Different person.
Yeah.
Different person, yeah. I don't know too much about that situation, but what it is about, and I know we can't spend that much time on it. Okay?
I mean, I don't even really want to talk about it. I just think that's an unruly motherfucker.
Yeah. He gets down in different ways, but the thing is everybody wants to control their narrative, right? And so the way that I look at this whole Will Smith, Jada Pinkett thing is what I hear everybody saying is, oh, let Will control his own narrative. But at the same time, it's just like, yo, fam, like if he really had a problem with it, he can divorce Jada, he can leave her, he can be like, yo, we're never talking about this again. Everybody but Will seems to have a real big problem with this.
They were at the King Richard premiere like
show
the other night.
As fuck.
The whole family was there. Everybody's happy,
right? Will seems to be perfectly
that could be for the
fine.
cameras. That could be for the who knows.
But I guess that's exactly what I'm saying. Is everybody's projecting onto Will as if he's some like little lamb that, oh my god, stop talking about Will, stop throwing dirt on Will's name. Will seems to be fine with shit. If he really had a fucking problem, then he would either counter her narrative in terms of the narrative that she's trying to paint, or he would just divorce her or leave her or whatever the fuck it is. But it seems like Will's just doing fucking Will. Like and
now, great. I hope they're a happy family. I hope they have no trouble in their marriage and relationship. All I'm saying is like, goddamn, keep that man business out the streets.
I would say this: if it was like either of our relationships, right, a little bit of a different story because we feel differently about it, right? Like I'm notoriously private person, so I don't like my shit being out there on the
I'm dating a white girl. I put my OJ Simpson jersey on. Like, you best not put my business in the streets.
Let's cut that from the podcast. I already know this is live.
We gotta keep that.
Yeah.
The juice, he ran for 1,000 yards.
Yo, let's proceed. Anyways, also coming out this week is Cowboy Bebop. I know we're both looking forward to that, even though I am well prepared for it to be trash. I am managing my expectations when it comes to this. I just don't
well said.
See
That's
it,
the perfect way to do it. It's not going to be the anime because like anime, you could do so much with anime that you can't do in live action.
I was explaining this to Addie.
Tailor your expectations.
I was explaining this to Addie.
Is it tailor or taper your expectations?
Taper your expectations.
Taper.
Yeah. I was explaining this to Addie last week. I was like, I think the reason why they're not going to like do it justice is because Cowboy Bebop is a vibe. Like it's just stylistically, it's just its own sort of thing, and there's almost like no way I think you can recreate that in live action.
Yeah,
because I think what they're going to try to recreate is the look, but that's not really, that's part of what we fuck with Cowboy Bebop, but like the other 50% of what we fuck with Cowboy Bebop is just the vibe. You know,
the only thing you could bring to life is the look, like the.
I don't even think you can bring that.
The outfits, like
no, because the outfits are gonna look stupid. Like because what they try to do, with all the pictures and like the trailers we've gotten, it's like to me it feels like a little too colorful. It feels like it's like too vibrant. Right, whereas I feel like they probably needed to dial that back a bit in order.
See,
for
I feel
us
the
to
opposite.
Get the vibe.
I feel like the anime like was very vibrant and it was like colorful and it was like it was very interesting stylistically, which is why it's such a great anime. Yeah. And it's gonna be and what I've seen from like the trailer of the live action that's premiering on Netflix pretty soon is like it's a little bit more muted. It's a little bit more like dialed back.
No, I feel like it looks comical. If it looks like it's so? Like like it's like. It's like people trying you sense that they're trying to mimic what's going on in Bebop instead of like, how can I put it in words that make sense? Like instead of giving it its own sort of like feel, like because it's a live action, it's going to have like Cowboy Bebop is a little bit, it's kind of depressing in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, it's definitely more dark, somber anime.
But I feel like
really, really
high
when you
fun
do
notes. Things live action, you have to have that reflect in how it's portrayed. Like when you have all this colorful shit, you can't help but be a little bit more uplifting, a little bit more just I don't know. More happier than, but what I feel like Cowboy Bebop is actually kind of a depressing show. But if you're just looking at it from a surface level, you'll be like, oh no, there's a vibrant look to it, but no, it's actually kind of depressing. But I feel like when you're watching a live action thing and you see all this vibrant stuff, you can't help but like be disconnected from I think what the sentiment of the show was.
Yeah. What I hope they do with that, and I'll be quick with this, is like I've already seen the anime, so like you don't need to retell me that like story for story, page by page. Tell me like give me a lot of the stuff that I love from the anime, like certain scenes, certain really memorable moments from the cartoon, like bring those things to life. But like maybe like tell the story in like a different way, focus on different characters, focus on different storylines, different relationships. Because they're gonna fail if they try to take the anime and make it a live action. It's impossible. They
I think that's exactly what they're trying to do.
I hope not.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Also coming out this week is Tiger King 2. There is precisely no. We didn't need it. We didn't want it. Why? Just no. It was a thing that came along, cultural phenomenon. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it the fuck go. Why try to do it again?
It's like Four Locos. Like for a while, people were like, yo, this thing will get you fucked up. This is crazy. But like, you know, after
a certain age, you're gotta be like, nah, this is not the wave.
I had fun with it. You know,
can't be on my lunch break.
I remember that wild night.
Locos,
we did a wild thing, but that's it. The hype has died down. Let me go back to like whiskey and beer like normal people.
Yeah. You can't be at your fucking company outing drinking Four Locos. What the fuck?
No, you cannot.
What are you doing? Why?
Not even at Four Locos corporate headquarters. They're like, no.
We know what's in this shit.
The CEO of Four Locos never had one. I just run the business.
He just uses it to gas his car. He just puts it in as gas, and I'm sure it'll power his car. Okay, coming out next week, we've got Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Look, this has been the worst reboot I think or attempt at a reboot that I've ever seen. Nobody even knows this movie's coming out. Nobody cares that this movie's coming out. So why try? Like, you haven't really promoted it. Nobody really like. It's not a different story really. It's just the same shit. Zombies. The zombie wave is kind of dead. I'm not as ironic as that is to say as a statement. It's kind of dead, dude. Like, I don't think we're really looking for more zombie shit. Like let's move on with this.
I feel like this was an idea that nobody thought would like you know when you like see an old friend from high school. And you're like, yeah, man, like, you know, we should hang out sometime. You should come over to the house sometime and, you know, grab a beer. And then, like, they actually show up.
So you're like,
that's what happened with Resident Evil. A couple writers like, yeah, we should rewrite Resident Evil. And then somebody was the director, like, you should direct it. And then, like, there were a couple of people like, oh, like, you guys should star in it. And then no one ever thought it would happen. And everyone showed up one day like, oh, shit, we're really doing this? And then they just haven't stopped. And then here we are.
Yeah. House of Gucci comes out next week.
Oh, God.
Encanto comes out next week. F is for Family. Season 5 is dropping next week too. Actually, I've missed out on the last couple of seasons, but I fucking love that show. It's with Bill Burr is the lead of that show.
Isn't it like an animated show?
It's an animated show on Netflix. I thoroughly enjoy that show.
I'm going to see Bill Burr.
Yeah, a lot of people are. He's coming to Baltimore, right?
Yeah. Live Casino, and I think it's like February, March or something like that.
Yeah.
Can't fucking wait.
You know, for other people to be canceled, it's amazing how he's sort of avoided it. He goes for it.
Unapologetic, which I love. Like,
you know,
and I love what like Dave Chappelle is doing. Dave Chappelle's not apologizing to anybody. He's like, I'll have the conversation with you. I'll talk to you.
The Chappelle
but
thing is kind of a strange thing.
No.
Like so, for instance, like his entire his alma mater school was like, oh, we don't fuck with you, Dave. I feel like at this point we're kind of jumping the shark a little bit in terms of like, I think people like it's kind of like a fad now. You know, I think we've crossed into that territory where I feel like people they don't really care what the original sin was. They just are like, oh, this is what we're doing? Cool, let's do it. You know, and like we're gonna, because for people, I feel like for people who know Chappelle's comedy, it's hard for you to like cancel him because you have to give him enough slack to be like, all right, even if you said something that was like disrespectful, I have to know that you weren't coming from some sort of like malicious place, right? Because with the way he constructs his comedy and with his social like awareness, like it's not coming from like a place of malice, but a place of like trying to like understand or discover and so for him to get this sort of backlash, it's kind of like, do you guys actually know like anything about his comedy? Like, do you know anything about him, or are you just like, oh, this is the move we're making?
If you watch the special, like I don't understand how you can be mad if you
I'll stop short
there.
He says some things in the special that I feel like if people are like, hey, this is offensive towards me, I feel like they're well within their means to say this.
But I feel like if you watch the whole thing, right, like until the very end,
I did watch the whole thing.
Well, like for the people who are like very upset about it, right? If you watch the whole thing to the end, yes, he said some things that offended you, and yes, that was his intent. Was it like a malicious intent? Like, does he like hate gay people or trans people? No, he clearly states that time and time again throughout the special.
Like, but he has some weird parts. Like, so for instance, when he called himself a TERF, I think Dave Chappelle's smart enough to know the things that he's saying before he says it. And what was unclear is whether he was saying that kind of tongue in cheek, like I guess I'm a TERF, or if he was like, I guess this is actually what I am. He left it so ambiguous that it's like it's hard to figure out. And I feel like if it wasn't for the fact that he said, "Oh, I'm a homophobe," which I feel like that statement was clear that he was just is kind of a tongue in cheek, like I guess I'm a homophobe now because they're calling me that. But I feel like if he didn't say he's a homophobe and that he's on a TERF, I feel like if he removes those two things, then I feel like it's a lot clearer what he's doing. But I feel like because he said that and because he left it so ambiguous on whether he actually was like being serious or not.
Yeah, see, I didn't get the ambiguity. Like I got the sarcastic nature to it.
But the reason why I think you do is because you're already familiar with Dave. You feel like you have a good sense of Dave, and like. But for people who are just watching that cold, who don't know anything else, it's much harder to pick that up from, like, he doesn't give you enough to know that he's...
Yeah. Or, you know, and I feel like a lot of those people may just already feel a certain way, right? Like, I feel like there are a lot of people who went and watched his special just because, like, they were like, oh, this person said this bad thing about our community. Like, let me watch it just to...
I'm sure those people
add fuel to the fire, you know?
I'm sure those people are out there, but I'm telling you, as somebody... I'm a huge Dave Chappelle fan, right?
Yeah.
Even as I was watching it, he said he's a TERF, but
what does that mean again?
It basically, it's like trans exclusionary radical feminist. I believe that's what that stands for.
For a generation of people who hate being labeled, we love to label ourselves. It's insane. Like there's a label for every fucking type of person or group who feels a certain way about anything.
So that's somebody who actually doesn't fuck with trans people.
It's still a label. That's what I'm talking about. Like, goddamn, like there's who labeled them?
They labeled themselves.
They labeled themselves.
Yeah.
But I just like, you know, the millennial generation, right? Like, oh, like don't label us and don't. But like, you know, we call ourselves millennials and like we'll give ourselves other names. We're TERFs. We're this. I can't follow this shit. Left wing, right wing. I don't know fucking which wing. I still don't know which wing is the good wing or the bad wing.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, all I have to say about this is that I think I think that there are a lot of different conversations happening at the same time, but I think that right now, Dave, the whole thing with Chappelle has crossed into some weird territory where now it's just cool to say you don't fuck with Dave, right? Especially if you want to show the trans community that you're with them, that you support them, is fuck Dave first. And this is like, that's not enough nuance to actually have a fruitful conversation, right? Yeah. And I don't know. I wish that Dave wasn't as like, because he got on stage afterwards and then he was like, oh, well, I'm not going to meet you wherever you're, it has to be where I say. It's just like, all right, this is all unnecessary. Like, I don't, like, if you really were trying to like mend fences and like really, especially with what he said at the end of that at the special of like, look, I'm not going to make another trans joke until I'm sure we're all laughing together. It feels like you're coming at it from a very odd angle. If like you're coming at it from an antagonistic angle of like, no, you will not tell me what to do. You will not, you do whatever. It like those aren't, it isn't the sentiment of somebody who's actually trying to like reach across. It sounds like somebody who's just being combative, you know? So
yeah, I could agree with that. I don't know if I would. Combative is not necessarily the word I would use. I think it's more like standing your ground. Like I stand firm on what I said. I'm open to have the conversation about it. If we have the conversation, it's not going to be one of those things where I come and I sit in a chair in front of 1,000 of you and answer all of your questions.
Yeah,
and
I will agree that
that's
there's this one thing that happened at a school. I forget what it was, like Greenville. I forget what the fuck the school was named, but basically, like, I think the teacher said something that some of the students considered to be either racist or just something, right? But then it like snowballed into this thing where they were talking to like the president and they had like this like not assembly but like this gathering, I guess. And like they were telling like the principal like, oh, don't like put your hands up because that's like aggressive. Like you got to put your hands by your side, and they were like instructing the president as he was, and I was just like, this is fucking insanity. Yeah. Like I get it if you're offended at the thing that they're saying, but this is crazy. Like, what are we doing?
Like, at the end of the day, and we can move on from this. I just think I think Dave is open to having the conversation, but what the conversation won't be is like, I'm not on trial. You're not gonna put me on trial. That's fair. But we can have a conversation.
That's fair.
That's
fair. All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about some of these headlines here. Look, dude, I just watched Shang-Chi. And I believe that's how it's pronounced in the movie. So I'm just going to go with that pronunciation. I know people are like, no, I'm going to say Shang. It's like, all right, look, if you want to be American, that's fine. Yeah. But I'm going to go with how they pronounce it, all right? So Shang-Chi, highly disappointed, dude. I'm not going to lie. With how everybody was talking about the movie, I was like really looking forward to it and being like, oh shit, this is going to be dope. It was, I'll say this, it was cool. Just not worth what everybody was saying, that like the hype that everybody was building towards it. It was all, it's like even in the Marvel lexicon, I don't even know what the fuck, if that's even applicable in this context, but in the Marvel like catalog of movies, I don't know if I'd rate this too high. Like this might be more either middle of the pack or slightly below. For me,
that. This is not even. This is below. It's not a conversation.
I don't blame you, dude. I honestly don't.
For me, this is down there at the bottom, floating, like just like gasping for air with like a head just slightly above water.
That's really descriptive.
It's for with like fucking Captain Marvel, Iron Man 3,
Iron Man 2 for me. This I think this is better than Iron Man 2 for me.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, we
I love Iron Man 2
as far as Iron Man 2
You'll
goes.
lose. Remember he kept saying that?
I don't remember that at all.
When he had the whips and he was on the track.
I've watched that movie twice. Once because you just watch it the first time, and then the second time to make sure, do I actually hate this movie? And I was like,
I've seen it like 6
confirmed.
times.
I continue. Huh?
I've seen it like 6 times.
I hate it. I hate this movie. But yeah, it's just so surprising to me that because I was really going into it, not necessarily super hyped to see it, but I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm expecting a certain like level, at least like a minimum level. I wasn't expecting like a Black Panther or an Endgame or Infinity War. Like I wasn't expecting that, but I was still expecting, and it was just like
this didn't feel like an MCU movie.
Nah, it definitely felt like an MCU movie.
For you?
Yeah.
No, this felt like anybody else could have like produced this movie, like fucking Paramount, Sony, just
So why would you say that? Like, so for instance, like Black Panther, like what would make you say that that's an MCU movie versus Shang-Chi?
I just feel like the level of just the storyline, the plot line, the level of like writing, action, the cinematography,
really,
like some of like for example, like we look at these movies that came out and not too far. The closest MCU movies that have come out are the Eternals and Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Shang-Chi, then the Eternals, right? Or was it?
No, yeah.
Black Widow came out before or after one of them, somewhere in between, maybe.
Yeah, I would rate this a little better than Black Widow. I severely disliked Black Widow.
See, I think Black Widow is better.
I think
Black Widow felt like an MCU, man. It was a part of the MCU
because it's Black Widow.
Yeah, sure. But like, Eternals, right? Like we've not seen anything like the Eternals. It is a little bit like campy. It's a little bit more of like an indie film, but it still felt very much.
So I get what you mean in the sense that it wasn't as if it was like super woven into everything else going on in the MCU. Like I get that. Like this was a super standalone movie, right?
Yeah. Well,
but
I guess the best way to say it feels connected. Like Eternals felt connected. Black Widow,
because Eternals has to do with like a lot of like lore when it comes to the MCU, right?
Yeah, I mean, but so does like there's so many different nuggets they dropped throughout Shang-Chi that like tried to connect.
I don't think not like the Eternals. Like the Eternals, like the actual story is like integral to the core of the MCU.
But I mean,
whereas Shang-Chi, it was like maybe they threw in a couple of references. There was who's the dude who showed up in it? What's his name? Wong. Showed up in the
from the fucking Doctor Strange. Yeah. It took us a while to get there. And then there are a bunch of like other little nuggets that were dropped in the film too. For some reason, it just didn't. Hard to explain, but it just didn't feel like an MCU movie. It didn't feel like
that's fair.
Connected
to me, it felt like an MCU movie, but it didn't feel like a good or like a particularly good MCU movie. I feel like I've seen a lot better from them, but. Like the movie ended and I was immediately like, well, shit, it'd be great if it'd be great if this was the first 30 minutes of the movie, if this whole movie was like the first 30 minutes of the movie and then they just hit me with some other shit. Like, but in any event, like I always appreciate movies that sort of like how they did with Spider-Man, where they kind of don't really do an origin story in Spider-Man Homecoming. It's just Peter just showing up and
like we're here
through his life. That's kind of how I would have felt like with this. Like I didn't really it felt like they spent a lot of time with the backstory, which I can kind of appreciate.
Where the mother and father met and how they fell in love. That
story just didn't like pan out, and then by the end they kind of wasted because then the dad's just like, all right, my bad, and then like they just keep it pushing. It's like what?
Like literally as soon as the family linked back up, it's just like, all right, well, I mean, like you defy me once, all right, fuck you. Like we're back to war. And like in the father, his motivation, I understand. You want to get the love of your life back, and you believe she's behind this mountain or whatever. But it's just like all of this that you're doing just felt odd.
Well, again, and I feel like they could have rode with that. But they just gave up on it so quick at the end when it was just like, oh, there's this dragon thing that's coming up. All right, like we're friends again. And it's just like, what? No, like you just were trying to kill everybody because you believed your way, and you're like, you just gave up on that immediately. So then, like your whole motivation was just kind of whack to begin with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, I don't want to spend
this movie. They gave you a lot of shit you didn't need.
Yes, it was a lot of
and not enough of what you wanted to see, but
I just thought I'd touch on that real quick. Look, we in other headlines, Shaq could have been in Green Mile. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, apparently he was originally slated to be in Green Mile, but he said he didn't want to like be the old, country dude, country Negro who was, I guess who he perceived as being.
That's fair. I mean,
slave.
I don't think. I think Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, I think Shaq admitted too. He was like, well, I mean, it turned out well for him. So
I think Shaq couldn't have done what he did for this film, just with like the caliber of acting, and also Shaq probably didn't need the money or the opportunity as much as Michael Clark Duncan did.
Yeah, I think this is a case where it's the correct choice to just be like, nah, even for whatever reasons that you did. it's better that you didn't.
Yeah.
Because I think he could have only made this movie worse. Like he couldn't. I don't think he could have.
Yeah,
elevated
I don't think there's
the
any
movie.
way Shaq walks away from this. Now, granted, like there's nothing, even the terrible shit that Shaq does and has done, like his albums that he's dropped, movies he
Terrible.
made that have been pure shit.
You don't go back and watch Kazan?
No. But like Shaq is such a lovable guy,
Yeah.
and he's such just like a great human being, like off the court, that like even some of the mistakes he's made, and Shaq is very honest with him. He's like, I made a rap album just because I wanted to make it, not because I was trying to be like the best rapper. I'm not competing with Jay-Z and Nas and DMX. It's like I made a rap album because I wanted to make a rap album. I became a police sheriff because I wanted to become a police officer. I wanted to serve. He does like live DJ concerts and sets often. He's like, I just wanted to learn how to do this shit and I like doing it, and that's why I did it.
Yeah.
So could he have done this movie? Sure. Would it have tarnished Shaq's image? Probably not, because we all still love Shaq. But I think he realized that like maybe somebody else deserves this opportunity.
Nah, it was definitely wasn't that. He just didn't want to do it because he didn't like the actual like role, or he didn't like how he would be portrayed in the role.
Yeah.
Which the to each his own. But I think that. Yeah, teach his own, I guess, is how I'll leave that.
It was the right decision.
Adam Driver never wants to go to Comic-Con again. He described this entire crazy fucking story where basically like he was like confined to the hotel for like a couple of days because like he couldn't even go get like a cup of coffee, because like even in the hotel he couldn't even get a cup of coffee because they were like, yo,
if one person sees you,
crazy.
it's over.
And if you go out you need to be in a mask or some shit like that. And he was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to either.
Look, I have no fucking problem. People are crazy, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, you just see Adam Driver and just like fucking just mob of people just fucking swarm him. Like, dude's like, get a fuck. He's going to do a panel in 15 minutes. Just, you're going to see him. Just why? Like what is he going to say in those 15 minutes that's going to be like life changing to you? That
he's just going to be like, hi. People go, oh my God. Kylo Ren said hi to me. Like, no, that's not what happened. It was Adam Driver. Yeah. He said hi. He has to take a piss. Let him go. Like, the fuck. I was having this conversation.
Is there anybody who you would do that for?
Who go like crazy for?
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like,
I can't imagine it, dude. I literally,
I've met, like, for example, I met Kanye twice.
Who?
Kanye
West?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was chill. He was chill. Like we had shit to do. It was like we were working. We were doing like a sneaker launch. Sneaker
for Adidas, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, cool.
Yeah. The reason why I paused was because there's like, there are so many things I would try to ask Kanye. Just why? Why are you the way you are? Like, it's like the office thing.
Yeah.
Why do you choose to be the way you, or however the fucking line goes?
But for us, it was just like, like we're professionals. We're here working. Like,
Did he seem Kanye like?
He was he really quiet, really like reserved to himself. Just like not in the instance when we were there and I was around him. Like it was, he just seemed very like quiet and humble. Just like, we're here to do this thing. I'm going to present these people with these shoes of mine. I'm going to give autographs, take pictures. I'm going to be here for 15 to 20 minutes or so. Then I'm out. It wasn't like the drama queen sometimes. Yeah, it's business as usual.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. You said hi to him. He said hello to you. Wow, that was it. Now, granted, like I've seen him be like a dickhead. I watched the Drink Champs interview. Yeah. Great interview. Very entertaining.
Always good for content, this guy. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Great content.
That was a great interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm just not one of those people like, who gets starstruck. I've seen many celebrities.
I've never, dude. Cool. I might see, like,
I won't even go up ask for a picture or autograph or anything like that.
Because I never go back and look at pictures anyway.
Yeah,
so
when I'm going to scroll back, like, oh my God, 2017 when I met Jeff Goldblum, like, oh, it was great.
Jeff Goldblum. No, but it's always been kind of weird to me because people, there's nobody that I idolize. There's people who I'm curious about. Like, I'm just curious. Like, so for instance, my favorite player in NFL, although he's been acting like an idiot as of late, is Aaron Rodgers, right? If I get in Aaron Rodgers' presence, I'm not like, oh my God, it's Aaron Rodgers. I just want to be like, fam, what's this and this like? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have like I would love to have a conversation with the people, not like just geeking out. Oh my God, I just love everything you do. And I don't idolize people. I just like, yo, I respect you. what about like what's up with these things? You know what I mean? Like I'm curious, is and the questions that I don't see people asking you, I want to ask you,
Yeah.
And so I fuck with, I get exactly what you mean.
This may come off the wrong way, but like I feel like for, at least in my experience, like for a lot of men, it's hard to get like super freaked out, like, and then like idolize certain celebrities, right? Because it's like that celebrity, if you freak out when you see him, he's like, yo, the fuck away from me, like you're a grown man and I'm a grown man. Like,
I don't but for me, I don't think it's actually that. I don't really care about like the response from the person. I just don't have that in me. Like I don't care enough. Like there's nobody. The only person who I would like freak out to see is like my family. It's been like a long time since post pandemic or not post pandemic, because we're clearly still in the pandemic. But like when it was like kind of safe to see each other again, I was like freaking, like when I saw my little nephew, I was freaking out to see my little nephew. I was geeking out over that.
Yeah.
But
That's
if
one
I
thing.
just fucking see Shannon Sharp at the fucking Costco, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Shannon signed my arm. Like
if I saw Shannon, because I love Shannon Sharp, I'd like want to say hello. I'd be like, I'd be like, what's up, Unc? You know what I mean? Something chill. Love your show, listen to the podcast, keep doing what you're doing, blah blah blah.
I'd want to talk to Shannon, which I know in those like brief interactions you're not able to do. So I'd just be like, all right. I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, what's up, Unc? You know what I mean? Let us show.
Get the shrimp that I came
blah, blah, blah,
here for.
And then let's go about our day. I don't want, and like for me, it's like mostly about like I don't want to hold them up too much, because like, I can only imagine how difficult it must be if you're like a well-known celebrity to like just go get a cup of coffee, and then like I don't want to be the one who's like, oh my god, I'm like, yo, like.
But that's just it.
I enjoy your coffee.
I wouldn't even if I knew they would be okay with it. I don't care enough to do that. Like there's not like I don't know this person, so why am I like freaking out? Like if it was like my little nephew that I haven't seen in forever, or like my sister who I haven't seen forever, then it's like, yes, this person, right? This person's never said hello to me. Like I don't know you, so why the fuck am I? Anyways.
Yeah, I remember I saw Pusha T. It was in DC. We were going to this hookah bar called Gazuza, and he was on his way out, right? Yeah. And we were like passing each other, like in the like little stairwell area. I was like, "What up, Push?" Dapped him off.
Keep pushing.
No one stopped moving.
Yeah,
that was like he was going up. I was going up the steps. He was going down the steps. What up, Push? Dap. Keep the fuck going. Like that's it. And that for me, that's all it needs.
Pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah,
dapping each other up off the
pre-pandemic.
Sanitizer up.
This is like 2017 or whatever, and that's all it needed to be. But anyway,
fair enough. John Krasinski said that he basically what's his name? Kevin. What's his name? Who's Kevin off The Office? What's his real name? It's like.
I don't remember his name. His real name.
Brian Baumgartner. I think that's Baumgartner. Whatever. He's coming out with a new basically tell-all book for The Office, right? And so I guess he's doing like all these like interviews and things like that. So one of the interesting interviews that he did was with John Krasinski, in which Krasinski talks about how he basically, there was a storyline. I don't know if you remember in season, I think it was like 7 or 8. It was probably 8 with The Office, where basically there was like an intern that was working there, and she and Jim and Dwight and all them, they went down to Florida, and the intern was basically trying to hook up with Jim, and then Jim gets Dwight in a room, and Dwight's just doing Dwight in terms of like fucking like spraying shit on the bed because he thinks there's bed bugs and shit. But apparently it was originally supposed to be set that Jim was supposed to be making out with this intern. And obviously that would have basically accounted for him essentially cheating on Pam. But then John Krasinski was like, nah, he put the kibosh on that. Like, nah, niggas, I ain't gonna fucking have me go out like a sucker. Like, and honestly, good on him. Clap it up for fucking John Krasinski, because if he would have did that, I don't know if people look at The Office the same. I don't think people look at John Krasinski the same. I think that changes the trajectory for both the show and for him personally.
Yeah, because Jim and Pam is one of the most like beloved TV couples, relationships, right? Absolutely, so that would have definitely had like a huge impact on how people viewed the character.
And unnecessary. Like there was nothing that would have gone against what the reason why we feel so much for Jim and Pam is because we saw Jim scrap and wait and
just it would have gone against everything that he did in seasons prior to like get Pam's attention.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
It would be like in one moment you undid everything, all the reasons why the fans fell in love with the character. You undo all of that for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, smart move. Like, and good for him as like the actor in the show to say like, you know what, like. I'm sure the writers probably wanted to do it, whoever.
I think
but
it was
like,
the creator for the show. I think they wrote it in, but I think he had to go to the creator of the show. I think it was it David Shore?
And be like, you know what? I don't think this character should do this. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add value. Like,
or Greg Daniels himself.
Yeah. So very smart for him. Now, people say Jim and Pam are one of like the most like, you know, iconic TV relationships. Yeah. I heard something that like really challenged that in a really interesting way, right? Because it's like throughout the whole series, Jim essentially does all of this shit for Pam.
No,
right?
I think that's I think what you're about to say is stupid.
So the thing where like, all right, bought her the house.
Yeah.
Remember he started that company, the business.
He bought her the house without actually telling her he bought the house, right? So
it's also, you know,
she could have gone half.
It was a buyer's market. It was a buyer's market, right? But like he started the business for you know, the sports agency, right?
Yeah.
He started, but then didn't he like leave the business to come back?
She put out 2 kids for him. She out of her vagina, she pushed out 2 kids. I don't want to fucking hear he started a sports agency. Fuck that.
I don't agree.
And also too, it was a case where basically he was wanting to like uproot their life from what they know. That's hard for anybody under any circumstance, right? So he's not doing that for her. He was doing that for him, right? So.
Well, sure. I mean, yes, like, I'm pursuing my dream, and I, want you to come with me. But like, it's also, this is like a us thing. This is how we could like take care of our family and have like a better life.
They're taking care of their family now. And I mean now
at a meaningless job that they both hate.
That they're making guap on. What do you mean?
Really? Were they making guap?
Commission checks were right.
We never saw the checks. We never saw the checks. But like, that's like,
oh, you think you're gonna make more money at a startup? They might even cut you a check for like 2 years.
I think it's like, we have this opportunity here to be like, business owners to start this and maybe have this like great sports agency, or we could just stay in Scranton and sell paper at Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah. No, I get you in the sentiment. Well, I guess the thing that I'm refuting is that, oh my God, he just did everything for Pam and she didn't do shit for him. I feel like during the course of the series, I don't, for people who like, so for instance, I heard things from Pam's side in terms of like, it was really sexist how, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the sentiment was. It was like sexist how I forget, there's something that Jim did that they or that's just the sentiment of their relationship that they're like, oh, this is kind of sexist a little bit. I was like, nah, that's not really fucking true either. I feel like they had a really balanced relationship in terms of like they did for each other, right? So for instance, when she could have made the whole art thing work out, she was like, you know what, I'm about to marry this dude. Let's just see where this fucking goes, and then
but she also was not like committed to her art at all throughout the show. She was actually really good.
I think he was a big part of why she wasn't committed. Like, so for instance, if he wasn't in the picture, like, so for instance, at the end of season 3, if he doesn't come back and is like, hey, let's go on a date, I think that changes her trajectory because she doesn't really have anything at the office outside of just being this job that she's had forever. I think that's when she started to sort of pick it up with, okay, like, let me just start feeling myself out and figure out what I want to do. I think if he's not in the picture, I think she leans way more into that. Now, obviously, we're speculating. It's a fucking show. Who the fuck knows, right? Yeah. But I don't buy into this shit that
I don't know. When I look back at their relationship, I think they they kind of just held each other back. I'm glad they love each other, but they really just held each other back. That's what it is.
Or they found what they needed, which was each other. That's how I choose to view it.
Nah, they held each other back.
All right, Rain doesn't believe in love, but it's fine. Let's move on. Chrissy Teigen, this is the last headline. Chrissy Teigen, a little bit in hot water because she apparently tried to like basically recreate Squid Games, and people were like, oh, well, you didn't understand that. You didn't understand what was happening there, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be trying to recreate it, because it's actually an indictment basically on people like you.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean she's trying to recreate it? Like,
essentially, like it was like fun with her friends and shit. She wasn't like fucking gathering poor people.
No, I'm thinking like, did she like start writing a script and like is she like filming her?
No.
Okay, so
she literally was like playing Squid Games, like their fashion of Squid Games with like friends and shit. It wasn't at all that serious. But
yeah, hopefully Alec Baldwin wasn't there because
Jesus Christ, too soon.
Is it?
It is too soon. Yes, dude, I can definitively say
the news cycle moves
soon.
fast. I don't know. Is it?
Too soon. Jesus Christ, dude. With I can't even fucking think straight. Jesus Christ, that was dark, dude.
The joke is that good when it stops everyone in their tracks. Oh my god,
that was dark, dude. So
safety first.
I'm curious what you think about that. Do you think it's appropriate for her to? Given what Squid Games is, and you've watched Squid Games, yeah. Given what it was about, do you think it's appropriate for somebody like her, wealthy, to sort of make light of it or whatever?
So, Squid Games was a really interesting show and had a lot of like social undertone, right? It talked about like wealth and power and privilege and all those stuff, and basically, really wealthy people being able to play a game with poor people who are like, who don't have the wealth that they have or suffering from debt and all that stuff, right? And there's lots of other undertones in it, right? About like how people who are like who are struggling, kind of like what we talked about earlier, people who grow up in these situations where their life is a war zone, or they grow up in poverty and they'll like, crabs in a barrel. They'll jump at any other opportunity. They'll climb over each other. They'll do anything to try and survive, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of what is into the show. So I think if Chrissy Teigen is playing Squid Games in her own home with her own friends, and if everybody's on board, that's fine. Now, if she went to like, fucking a poor neighborhood somewhere and like had a bunch of like homeless people hop into the back of a truck and say, hey, like, we're going to go play Squid Games, like that would be fucked up. But if I have people over in a couple of like tonight, and then we play like a version of Squid Games, like, I don't fucking think it matter. Like whether you're rich or you're not really that rich. If you decide like, hey, we're going to take this thing that we all really enjoy, this like social thing that's happening right now, like find a way to make it fun and make it our own. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think people just get too hurt or butt hurt when rich people do certain things sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that's like the point, is that you're rich, and this thing is basically critiquing the rich, and showing how fucked up society is, and it's explicit not misunderstanding, but it's explicit either misunderstanding or not give a fuck on Chrissy Teigen's part to be like, let's play Squid Games, right? Like you're missing the entire fucking point of this thing that was very obvious.
But it's like, damn, like they can't have fun, like, and it's because like rich and famous people, they're always under a microscope, right?
You can have fun, and I understand that you're always under a microscope when you're wealthy, right? But you can have fun, but in with this specific show in this specific context, I really feel like you're missing the mark. Now, here's where I stand on it: is I feel like both sides need to chill the fuck out. Chrissy probably needs to chill the fuck out. Maybe read the room a little bit, right? Read the room you're in a little bit with this one, right? Maybe do something else. Maybe don't even call it Squid Games.
I'm guessing she like filmed it and she put it up on like social media or some shit like that.
On social media, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think she was commenting on it.
Really, it's like maybe just next time, just don't put it on social media because you know how people are gonna react to it and people are gonna like act stupid, right?
Yeah, I feel like if you don't flaunt it around, then maybe you can kind of skate by. But then on alternatively, on the other side of people saying like, oh my god, like you how dare you? It's just like, it's not that serious, dude. Like I don't. It's not.
It's like, you that upset? Chrissy Teigen was playing Squid Games in her own home. Like, what? Do you have nothing else to care about?
I think people still fucking feel the type of way about Chrissy Teigen because she had the whole bullying thing.
Yeah, no, I don't like fucking Chrissy Teigen at all. Every time I hear her name, I'm like, what? Why? What does she do?
She models, dude. That's her thing. She's a model. Or she was a model. I don't know what the fuck she does now. I guess she's an actress. No,
modeled where? For what?
Dude, I don't fucking know. You pull her Wikipedia up. I don't know. Yeah, like you always tell me.
Not worth my time. Not worth my time. Right? Listen, but I don't like Chrissy Teigen. I don't know what she's famous for. I don't know what she does. I don't know what her talent is. She just not to diminish her, like as a woman or whatnot. I only know her as John Legend's wife. Like I don't know like what she actually. No,
she's definitely like a model. Like she had a life before John Legend.
Great for her. But like I just find her to be. She does and says a lot of stupid shit, and I just wish she'd shut the fuck up.
But I think that's that's the reason why anybody's talking about this, is because she's just, for me.
Yo, John Legend's such a lovable guy. I feel like him and Will need to get together.
Again,
like, you guys need to come here, sit the fuck down. Y'all doing too much.
But again, this is about narratives, right? We view John Legend as such a lovable guy. He might be a piece of shit himself, but it's because of the image that he projects, and because he only lets us see that quote unquote lovable side of himself that we think, oh man, why is he with this person who's sort of kind of obnoxious a little bit?
This ridiculous cunt.
But really, Jesus Christ. But
I whispered it.
Huh?
I whispered it. See,
yeah, that's
you didn't even have to acknowledge it.
I definitely did. I definitely did. Anyways, so that's it for headlines. Look, let's talk real quick about a thing that I did want to talk about super quick, and we don't have to talk about it that long. So these shows that are out there, right? Talking Sopranos, Drama Queens, right? These shows that basically give you a behind, like they go basically through episode of whatever the show is, right? I don't know if we need these shows, and I understand that I have no control clearly of whether these things get put out there. I'm gonna ask how you feel about it, because I was watching. A lot of people may make fun of me. I don't give a fuck. I love the show. I adore the show. One Tree Hill. Not all of the show. Maybe seasons 1 through 6. I think I enjoyed everything after that is pretty garbage. But I adore that show. And they have this thing called Drama Queens. I believe that's what the podcast is called, where they basically either go through episodes of it, or they just basically talk about like the behind the scenes of it. And a lot of things are coming out from that. Like basically the created the shows super fucking creep, and like the set, the atmosphere on set was like not great. I don't know if I need to know that, dude. And obviously it's my choice on whether I listen to their podcast or not. But even when I see the fucking headlines, it kind of ruins the show for me. I'm not gonna lie. And is me enjoying the show as important as them living their truth? In my mind, kind of. I don't mean to be a piece of shit about it.
The people on the Drama Queens podcast, they're essentially like doing a podcast about like stuff that happened behind the scenes of your favorite show.
Yeah,
right?
they're talking about all the things like and they're doing this for a lot of the shows, like the OC. They're doing this for the Sopranos. They're doing this, and it's kind of like, in some respects, I do appreciate behind the scenes information. Like you get behind the scenes of like, movie shows and like that all the time. But I think this is different in that they're going through like pretty detailed accounts of stuff that's not great. Usually when you get behind the scenes, it's like, oh, hey, this is our thought process when it came to this scene, or this is our thought process when it came to that thing, or this storyline, or whatever the case is. But this is like, I kept getting felt up, when I would try to get my morning bagel by this one producer, and it's just like, fuck, how can I watch your show? I can't watch the show after that. I can't, and I love the show. I can't watch it after you say all this stuff, and it's just like, and I appreciate them living their truth. But at the same time, I can't fucking watch the show afterwards, and I love the show. So what do I do?
Yeah. A couple years ago, I was in New York City, right? And I was walking into this restaurant, and there were these people outside protesting the restaurant. Like, this place is terrible, and this company, they abuse animals, and like, they had like
You're
posters.
About to say something terrible, dude.
No. They had posters with pictures. Like, they were trying their hardest not to get you to walk in the door, right? I don't give a fuck. I still went inside. Yeah. This is Chipotle. I went inside. And you know what? Like, I was just gonna get a steak burrito, but I got the double meat. You know what I mean? Like, and I sat at the window. I didn't want to miss.
Just looked at them.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss all the shit that was going on, because they were like yelling and screaming, and they were going at people. So I sat at the window. I ate my double meat burrito, and I continued to enjoy the thing that I enjoy. I don't give a fuck what you say or do. If I like something, there's nothing much that you can really say that's gonna not make me like the thing.
Really? That's interesting.
Listen, on the way here, I was listening to that. You remember Drinks in the Air, the Keith Murray and R. Kelly?
Oh yeah.
Love that song. Sorry, I'm not. R. Kelly's a fucking scumbag.
Okay, so that's slightly.
I'm not gonna not listen to the song.
That's slightly different from what I'm talking about, because that's like somebody whose artwork, like it's a direct thing, right? Like R. Kelly's like on the song and he's singing the song, and it's just like, fuck, this is a little whatever, right? But I'm talking about like watching it's weird because it's like people talking about a show who acted in the show, who acted well in the show, who I'm sure are like, yeah, they gave their all to the show. And so it's like, I can't enjoy your performance or the stories or anything like that if I know all this crazy shit was happening behind the scenes, because now I can't just watch the show. Now every time I watch the show, I'm thinking about, oh shit, did you just, when you yell cut, you know, is somebody trying to fill you up or some shit? Like, you know, like now I can't just watch the show. I feel like that's different from like an R. Kelly song or not even an R. Kelly song, but like, or just listening to music, I feel like is a little different from like watching a shit, because you're understanding.
As you're watching it, you're thinking about like all the things that were going on during the time.
Because it's actually happening. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on when R. Kelly was fucking writing whatever song, but it's, I know for sure when I want to know. I don't want to know. We don't want to know.
But like, you know, again, long story short, to answer your question, like it's the thing where it's like, if that show was filmed, you know, so how many ever years ago, if that movie was made however many years ago, like, and if I still enjoy the thing, I'm going to watch it. It is unfortunate what happened during the creation of this thing. And I hope that whoever did the wrong thing, you know, I hope they get brought to justice. But it's like the creator of the
show that's like, it's like, it's not something you can really like, it's like, oh, this is one, you know, production assistant that did some fucked up shit. No.
Yeah.
It's literally the creator of the show, and then it kind of trickles down from there. And so it's just like,
I'm like, God damn it, you bastard. Next episode. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe I am thinking about it a little too deep, but also I feel like it's an actual thing of like, they're living their truth, which they should do, but it's kind of, for the thing that people know you for, it's like painting it in this really just alternative light that I don't, and I'm not saying that in the vein of they shouldn't talk about it, but I am saying it in a vein of like, fuck, well, can I not go back and not, am I asking, I'm like talking to myself basically of like, fuck, I don't really want to go back and watch that now, even though I love the thing. And so I don't know. I caught myself kind of struggling with that a little bit, and I just didn't know if it was obviously it's not the same for you.
Yeah, I mean, someone died probably making this beer.
All right.
Refreshing.
Why would you indulge in like the like, you seem like you enjoyed it more because of that. I don't,
yeah, you know what, that sip was actually pretty good. I don't know what it was was it, but
right. We'll move on. All right, let's check out.
Can't save everybody.
Let's jump into our trailers, man. So I'm actually really fucking excited to see this trailer because obviously it's blown up. Have you already watched it? You probably did. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I don't like these Spider-Man movies. I'm done with Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. We've gotten way too many Spider-Man.
I didn't like No Way Home, Wrong Way Home, Left Turn Home, fucking. What are the movies called again? Like
Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
Go home. Like, Jesus Christ. At this point, just go home. Okay. In the movie, if he's not at home, I'm going to be upset because like he's putting everybody in danger. At this point, he's being irresponsible.
But what
home.
What do you not actually like about the movies? Because you're talking about the home, which is obviously the title of the movie. But I'm sure there's something about the movies that you don't appreciate.
So one of the things I don't like about how this particular Spider-Man story is being told, it's like it is much more junior in like the maturity level of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, right?
But
Tobey Maguire's
how Spider-Man is supposed to be.
Well, like if you follow the comic books, right? Like, you know, I think he starts off in college.
The comic book, it's explicitly basically him. No, you're talking about the animated series, right? Like that, because that's what took you through basically him.
No, I think even at the very beginning, I think when Spider-Man first becomes Spider-Man, it happens like as in his college years, right?
That's not that might have been the animated that might have been the animated series, but that's not the actual like Spider-Man story, right? Like it happens.
I watched Stan Lee's interview.
Okay, all right.
This was Stan Lee saying this. Like,
was it Stan Lee saying that exactly?
Yes.
No, it was not. You know why?
It was.
Because every iteration, or not every iteration, but the original story of Spider-Man has him in high school going through this. Like,
I don't know.
All right, whatever.
We may just agree to disagree.
Fair enough.
I watched the Stan Lee interview, and he was like, when he was creating the character, he got told like this will never work. People hate spiders. No one cares about teenagers, right? Anyway, so what I don't like about this,
you're a teenager in high school.
You're a teenager in college.
Sometimes.
Unless you failed. Anyway, moving on. What I don't like is like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man seemed a little bit more older, a little bit more mature. There was like, sure, there was a relationship with Mary Jane and then all of those things, but like there was also like a sense of like, I've got responsibilities now. I've got like, with great power comes great responsibilities, and I have to like rise to that occasion. I think Uncle Ben being there kind of like inspired him to like do more and like be greater, right? And I like that storyline. What I don't necessarily like about this particular storyline is this movie is very much about like Tom Holland always like jeopardizing, kind of putting like, not necessarily intentionally putting people in danger, but is like, it's just about like him and his relationship with Mary Jane. And then like, he's just like going above, he's putting everything else, all the other important things behind his like saving Mary Jane and their relationship.
Isn't that the whole idea of basically of Spider, or not just even Spider-Man, but like of superheroes altogether, of them basically just, I kind of just want to just be a normal person. I just want to like live a normal life and fall in love. And
not Captain America. He went into the ice 70 years ago.
Yeah, but actually that was the same thing, right? Like if we're looking at his relationship with Peggy Carter, right? Like he literally went back in time for her. Very literally.
True.
So I feel like, and I think that's why I appreciate Spider-Man stories, because and that's why I appreciate Tom Holland's iteration of Spider-Man, is because it really does explore what it's like to be a kid and have all this fucking responsibility thrusted on you because of the thing you're capable of doing. And it's very much is a quintessential question of, do you owe it to society? Like he says, when we first see him in Civil War, if you have the ability to do something and then the bad things happen and you don't do anything, well, they happen because of you. And I think that's what we're grappling with, his iteration of Spider-Man, more so than I think we've done in
That's true.
any other iteration.
I feel like a lot of the danger that like his friends get put in and Mary Jane are because he's like, he wants to be like, oh, I just want to hang out with you and like be boyfriend and girlfriend or whatnot, and that is now exposing you to a lot of danger, right? And then when these dangerous things happen, it's like he's dedicating a lot of his time and his attention to like saving her in that character versus like rising to the occasion, like what we see with like a character like Iron Man or Captain America, or like some of these other characters that I enjoy watching their stories a little bit more. I just wish we got like a little older, more mature Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's fair. So Spider-Man No Way From Home, this is the second trailer to drop for it, and basically the story here is by the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, everybody knows that he's Spider-Man, right? That I think Mysterio basically lets everybody know that, hey, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And so Peter links up with Doctor Strange to like do some sort of hokey spell or some shit like that in order to make everybody forget. Goes haywire, and boom, we get some sort of multiversal action here. So this is directed by John Watts and written by Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers, and obviously stars Tom Holland, Zendaya, Benedict Cumberbatch, and of course the very lovely Marissa Tomei, the best Aunt May ever. And this movie is due out December 17th of this particular year. It's interesting that they're releasing this trailer now. You would think they would either just hold it or release the trailer like a lot earlier than now, but whatever. Either way, I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah.
Without further ado, hit us.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter.
not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way!
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone. What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th.
Okay, guy.
I didn't need that. Like,
Okay.
I was already gonna go see the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Spider-Man, but I was already gonna go. It was just, I get it. Like, it's the big bad. I feel like the first teaser and the trailer that we saw was like enough. To your point, with this movie coming out December 17th, which is like literally just 30 days from now, why? I feel like this trailer was poorly timed. Either you should have released this sooner, or just hold on to it. And you know, the buzz is already there. It's a Spider-Man movie. People are gonna go see it. I don't get why they released this trailer.
Yeah, I think they released it because maybe they were trying to. Apparently, there's so much stuff with the film that we didn't get with the trailer. So many little secrets and cameos. Like, it's pretty well rumored that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be back as
Which was
Spidey.
confirmed in this trailer.
Was it?
So you remember that point where Dr. Octopus has like Peter up against a wall upside down and he takes off his mask and he says,
he said,
"You're not Peter."
No, that's the acknowledgement that there are other Peter Parkers out there, but that's not like they're going to be in the movie.
And there's a scene in the trailer where there are apparently like two Spider-Mans. It's like when Sandman is creating that like whirlwind. In that shot, there's apparently two Spider-Mans.
Fair enough. All I'm trying to say is it's rumored that there.
Yeah.
It's not because Andrew Garfield has gone out of his way to say, "I am not in this fucking movie." Stop asking me. I don't care about your questions. I am not in this movie. Okay. He's literally gone out of his way to state this. So anyways, I think it was necessary in the sense of you don't want to release that too early so people dissect it 18 ways, from Sunday and are able to figure out exactly what the fuck's going on based off of this and that. You want to release it closer to the movie coming out so that you're not kind of kneecapping yourself with the movie itself. I thought that on its own, regardless of the time that it was put out, I thought that was a good trailer. I felt I felt a narrative being drawn that Peter's trying to save everybody and he's just not going to be able to do it. He's going to have to make a choice on who he saves. And does he sacrifice Mary Jane in order to save everybody else? Does he sacrifice everybody else in order to save Mary Jane? Does he just save himself? Like, he's going to have to make choices here. And I think that was conveyed very well in the trailer that I didn't get from the other trailers. Like I thought the teaser trailer that we got was just about him fucking up the multiverse, which I think this creates more of a narrative, right? That we're going to see with him. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good trailer. I've actually not hated this iteration of Spider-Man, and I think that this will be a nice sort of cap off.
Yeah.
For the trilogy.
I still think Tobey Maguire's first two films were the best Spider-Man iterations that I've seen.
Now, it's interesting that you say the first two films, because I feel like those were the ones that didn't, maybe you could argue the second one more so obviously than the first one, but those actually didn't have a lot to do with him growing up, quote unquote. Like, it was the third one that was like he was dealing with some pretty adult shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's, I was just like 7 years in to him being like, but like, at least in like the first, and not even to put these movies against each other. I'm just saying those are my favorites, sure. Right? I think the stories that have been told in like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I haven't particularly enjoyed the storyline. The action, the suit, they've been funny and witty and interesting. And like the last film with Mysterio, the visual effects were insane. I still go back to the fact that I don't particularly enjoy the storyline, and I do hope that like in this film we're gonna have to see him like kind of grow up and make some more mature decisions, right? Yep. Like you said, he can't save everybody. So what is he gonna choose? Is he gonna choose like, I just want to live my personal life, and even if that is at the expense of a lot of other people that I care about that need my help, or do I have to become an adult now? Maybe my personal life suffers, but I keep the city safe.
Either way, we'll find out December 17th. Yeah. Let's jump here to our second trailer, Moon Knight. This was directed by Jeremy Slater, or created by Jeremy Slater, and multiple writers, because it's a series. And this tells the story of Mark Spector, who is a former CIA agent whose life is saved by the Moon God. You guys are gonna have to forgive me here. Khonshu, I believe that's pronounced. But obviously this is starring Oscar Isaac. I fucking love him. Ethan Hawke, Gaspard Ulliel, I believe that's how that's pronounced, and May Calamoe, who among others. And this is due out in 2022. Don't know exactly when, but at some point in 2022 we're going to get Moon Knight. Let's check out this teaser from Moon Knight.
I was the best at what I did. I got in, got out. No one got hurt. Until I discovered something I was never meant to see. That's when they came for me. Now, I'm coming for them.
There is more to the moon than childish stories.
So trying to figure out if you're supposed to kill me or give me a pep talk.
I, the moon's knight of vengeance, must carry out your luminous will. And now, foul demon, face the vengeance of the Moon Knight.
Are we sure that was the trailer?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. That might not have been.
I feel like that was a fan-made teaser.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not seem like it was the actual Moon Knight trailer. Let me see here. Hold on. I was told that the teaser came out. So this might be my fault.
No worries. The internet's a scary place. Easily fooled. One thing though, while you do that,
yeah,
I'm really excited for the upcoming Blade introductions. That's the movie I'm waiting for. Mahershala Ali's Blade. We saw a bit of, we didn't see him, we'd heard his voice at the end of, The Eternals, where Kit Harington's character, he like goes and gets the sword, and he's supposed to become like the what is it like? You haven't seen.
Let's slow up. Let's slow up.
Okay, so this is the second time Blade's character has been introduced, and if you follow the comic books, Blade and the Moon Knight, they sometimes work together, and we may also see Blade in Morbius, because if you follow the comic books, Blade,
we're definitely not going to see Blade in Morbius. We've had this exact conversation.
We have. I hope they at least fucking hint to him or something. We may not see him because I know they're Marvel rights and Sony rights, but I hope they at least like acknowledge that relationship to Blade and Spider-Man and all that shit.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. But as far as this Moon Knight thing goes, obviously we did not see the trailer. I think it was a teaser that got put out by Disney Plus Day or whatever it's called. I could try to set it up, but it's like 30 seconds long. I'm seeing. Is it worth it? Let me know. Is it worth it to pull it up and for us to react?
The actual teaser?
Yeah.
We got more show to do.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Let's move on.
We might try it next week. That was my fault, my mistake. I had the wrong link. In any event, we'll move on. Hey, look, we can't be perfect all the time, guys, okay?
Yeah. I mean,
look, I just want to say,
even Kobe missed sometimes.
I was watching that.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to comment, this fucking sucks, and this is why I don't watch any more movies. Yeah. And then to come to find out, this is not the real.
No, the Moon Knight. This looks like it's going to be a really dope story. I mean, one of the big villains in this is rumored to be like Dracula. Ethan Hawke is making his MCU introduction.
It has Oscar Isaac.
I'm
going to watch. And enjoy it.
The boy hasn't missed.
Never has this dude missed. Addy, I know you say you have a lot of hot takes. Have you ever watched an Oscar Isaac movie and you're like,
yeah, what's that indie one with the robot chick?
Is he about to say through his lips that he didn't like Ex Machina?
No, I loved it.
Oh, okay.
You asked me if I ever watched any movies. I was about to be like, Ex Machina was fucking awesome.
You know what, Addy? It's been fun working with you, but get the fuck out, all right?
Send me my chicken and mail.
Jesus Christ. No, okay, yeah. All right, I thought you were going to go in the opposite direction.
Ex Machina was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Incredible movie.
And the fact that they filmed portions of it on black magic cameras for that kind of a movie, I loved it.
Yeah, it was incredible, dude. There's never been an Oscar Isaac thing that I've seen or I've been like, that wasn't fucking dope. It's never happened. You know what I mean? So I am very much looking forward to Moon Knight, and just to see him pummeling the shit out of people, because apparently that's what Moon Knight does. He doesn't really ask questions too much. He just beats the shit out of people.
He's a darker character in the MCU.
Yep.
Bro, side note, do you know how good it must feel as a director when Oscar Isaac signs on for the project?
Oh, you know.
You're like, oh my God. You were like worried, like, this might be it for me. This is my last leg in Hollywood. If I don't do great in this movie, I may never get hired onto another project again. And you find out Oscar Isaac signed on. You're like, honey, the house you want, let's get it. Let's put in the offer today. 100,000 above.
Get
price.
rid of that. Get rid of that. What is the low grade champagne? What is the shit?
You
Andre?
Was that Andre?
You drinking the Andre? No, get rid of that shit.
Send the expensive bottle. I'm paying tonight.
Let's pay VIP room at the whatever fucking club is. Let's pay those prices for it.
Send more bottles.
Anyways, we'll get at the real Moon Knight trailer at some point in time. But let's move on here quickly so we can move past my blunder. So it was rumored, or not rumored, coming from his own lips. Apparently, we're in this space now where we're talking about, who's going to play Bond? Who do we want to be our next Bond? Daniel Craig just had his last iteration of Bond as with No Time to Die. Have you watched that yet?
No, I'm not.
I still need to see it too. So it's Daniel Craig's last turn, and everybody's like, who's going to be the next Bond? Well, apparently it might be the great one for the millions and millions of the Rock's fans. Do you remember that from back
That was
in the day?
very good. That was a really good Rock impression. You did well.
Yeah, man.
That was really good.
I fucking love The Rock, man.
Give him some bombs or some. That was very good.
Yeah, look, dude, I fucking love peak Rock was like 99 2000 Rock.
Yeah.
That was peak Rock. Everything we're getting now is a little watered down. It's a little sloppy. Not sloppy, but just not my favorite Rock, right? Like
yeah, I mean, he's evolved from being like the wrestler where you have to be that like showman, right, to being like an actor where you got to be like storyteller.
I hate it. I want him to go back to being peak Rock because he just did. Everything he said was fucking golden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the Rudy Poo candy ass to just everything. You know
you've got the voice fluctuation down too. This is really good.
I watched a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, this might be your thing.
This might be my thing. Just going around doing Rock impressions.
Just do it.
What money?
Wherever, Starbucks, the toll station where she asked you for, like, oh, would you like ones back, or you're like fives? It doesn't matter
how much change.
Bro, yeah, this is your thing.
Yeah, so The Rock apparently is throwing his hat into the ring for playing Bond because apparently his grandfather Peter Maivia was actually a Bond villain, or I guess at least a henchman in You Only Live Twice. And so he has a little bit of a connection to the Bond franchise. So this is a direct quote from Rock. He says, "Yes, my grandfather was a Bond villain in You Only Live Twice with Sean Connery. It was very, very cool. And I would like to follow in his footsteps and be the next Bond. I don't want to be a villain. Got to be Bond." Now, I will say up front, that is preposterous, okay? On just like every front, right? Your grandfather was a henchman in You Only Live Twice. You're not exactly following in his footsteps in being Bond. It would make sense if you were either also a henchman or a villain, right? But to be Bond is a completely different fucking thing. So you're not following in his footsteps. You are making your own footsteps.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you're not even walking down the same path. There's no footsteps. You're not following any footsteps.
Yeah. What do you think of Rock potentially becoming Bond?
I watched Red Notice last night on Netflix. Yeah. Film Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
This guy does not do. He does like action hero, like the big. You know who the fuck he is. He's gonna run through the wall and tackle you and arrest you, and like he's that kind of government agent, right? Yeah. He's that kind of like bounty hunter or whatever, right? He is not the suave, smooth spy that can blend into any room, get in, get out, get the information.
Do you think that's because he hasn't really been given that kind of?
Too fucking big. There's no way. There's no way. This big motherfucker is gonna sneak into my security room, past my security, steal the data that MI5 is looking for in order to stop this terror attack, whatever.
Now we're obviously looking past the fact that he's not British, nor do I think he can pull off a convincing British accent for a duration of an entire film. We're looking past that, right, and just looking at the actual physical nature of what he's trying to do.
Give me a rendition of what a British Rock might sound like. I think I know I can't pull it off.
My brain explodes every time I think of trying to do that because I don't even know what the fuck that sounds.
Because
like.
You know how The Rock talks, right? He's very. I was walking down the street the other day. And one of my fans, she loved me. She's my biggest fan. She wanted to take pictures. She's a fan of mine. So, like he talks like that, right? Yeah. So give me like a British.
No, literally, I'm in my brain. I'm trying to be like, okay, how can I
believe in
work?
You. We watched the whole season of UK Love Island. I know you got. Just take UK Love Island.
Dude, I understood a fourth of what they were saying behind their I don't even know what the fuck the phrases are anymore, but like there's no iteration of The Rock playing some sort of international spy that I think like works like in terms of the Bond. Now, obviously, if you were trying to go in a completely different way with Bond, cool.
Maybe he's a 00.
No,
he's
but,
just
but
not
even
007.
even Idris Elba, right? At least Idris Elba, for one, clearly not as swole as The Rock. Two, is British, so clearly pull off the accent. And then 3, Idris Elba hasn't really done anything to sort of like put him, and he's done what's his series that the Idris Elba series?
Great series, love that show.
It's called something, but. He's at least done that. The Rock has basically done nothing to this point to like warm us up to the idea of, at this point he's just doing it. Like if you've won a couple hands in poker, you just are like, kind of like the big dick in the room. So you're just like, I just do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna ask any questions here. I don't need to ask questions. You come check with me, right? That's basically what the fucking Rock is doing here. Because it's like there's nothing about you that says, there's nothing even about the work you've done that says you should play the next Bond. But he's just like, fuck it. I can't miss, dudes.
I mean, there's nothing. And a great actor, successful guy, charming, charismatic. Like he has a lot of the attributes that a Bond character would have.
Luther. That's what.
Luther. Yep, that's exactly it. He has some of the characteristics that a Bond would have, right? Again, charming, he's suave, he's, got
But he's not charming in the way that Bond's charming. Yeah. He's charming in the way that, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a different vibe. It's not Bond
He's charming in a way
suave.
that, like, when he walks into a room, people know he's there.
People like him.
Yeah.
Right?
Like he's attractive and magnetic, and like when people want to know, oh, who's that guy? Let's go talk to him.
But it's not like he's like maybe peak Rock in 99, 2000, maybe peak Rock could kind of pull off a Bond a little bit, minus the accent. No, definitely, 100%. This Rock, who's clearly roided out.
Wait. Are you talking about like WWE Rock, Scorpion King Rock? Like which iteration?
Scorpion King. This is because Scorpion
like,
King was like
the Rundown Rock.
No, this is before Hollywood Rock, right? This is before we got Hollywood Rock.
Are you talking about University of Miami linebacker Rock?
No, I'm talking about 99 to 2000 Rock, where it was like he was at the apex. Yeah, I know. he had a window there.
Yeah, I don't know.
He had one window, and he passed.
So you're talking about Wrestler Rock.
Wrestler Rock. So this is when this was when The Rock blew up as a wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm. When he changed his name from like Rocky Maivia to
exactly
The Rock.
to The Rock, right?
Yeah.
That Rock might have had a shot at this. Rock now? Fuck no. It's not gonna happen.
The Rock then didn't. The Rock now doesn't. Like, and I'm not even speaking to his like acting ability, right? What I'm speaking to is like the character itself, right? That they're a spy. They've got to be able to blend. They've got to be able to.
That's what I'm
fit
saying.
in.
But this is before we got Swole Rock. Swole Rock really didn't hit the scene until kind of around the Fast and Furious, when he got involved with Fast and Furious. That's when you just saw The Rock like, this is a mountain. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I remember when he got off the plane and he was like Hobbs. And
it's like what happened to you?
Did he eat Vin Diesel? But no. Again, I just don't see it. Like the character just won't fit. Like he does not come off as like this international suave spy. He's too noticeable. He's too big. This is just not the role for him. I think he could play a 00, maybe just not 007. Maybe he's a part of like MI. Maybe he's in the movie. He's a part, but he's not going to be Bond.
He's
he's not going to want to take a
unless he's top
role.
billing. He's not going to fucking. He's not going to go for that shit.
So I think we I appreciate you. It's like when I apply for a job that I don't qualify for. So I know I'm not going to get it, but maybe I'll get a call.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will call me.
Yeah.
So who is it?
The director of global marketing? Like, no, I'm not there yet, but I'm going to apply.
See, now you're just outing yourself.
At Netflix. I have no digital streaming experience.
You could have put that into the ether of like, I can do that shit. Easy, but you just told yourself that was unnecessary.
No, but I'll still apply.
You mean who should be?
Yeah. Who's your guy?
I don't think I have any. I don't think I care. At this point, I don't give a shit anymore. It'd be cool to see Idris. I don't even care about that really. I don't give a fuck. I mean, honestly, I think I'm done with Bond. I don't think I give a shit about Bond anymore.
Now, if Oscar Isaacs pulls off a Bond, you're gonna watch
I'd
it.
take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That'd be
Give me an Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, Lakeith Stanfield, the dude Madden, the dude from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He was in Eternals as well. I think he'd be a good Bond.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who I think could play a good Bond. I would like to see someone different, maybe not like another white man, but like,
even if it is another, like they'd have to do something. They'd have to basically do what they did with Daniel Craig's Bond, but do it way more explicitly of creating an actual like narrative for Bond, right? This whole one-off movie, nothing really ties together situation. How am I supposed to care about this? It's just, okay, he's another womanizer in this movie and he's just sleeping with a whole bunch of women and killing a bunch of dudes in foreign countries, and that's it. Like, there has to be something else to that. And that's what I appreciated about Daniel Craig's turn as Bond, is that they tried to do some different shit with it, or at least tried to tell some sort of coherent plot. Throughout
whoever becomes the next Bond, it's got to be like a 3-part thing, right? Like 3 films. Like
they're not going to sign.
They're signing on to tell a story.
What the fuck is this? Like, is this for Spider-Man? They've had longer runs than just one movie. No, Andrew Garfield had 2 movies, right? Tobey Maguire got 3. Should have been 4, but
Andrew Garfield had 2 movies.
Yeah,
ew.
There's the Amazing Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Neither of them were amazing.
That's fair. But yeah, at this point, I think it's time to just either retire Bond or just do something radically different with him. Like, because I don't really care about another one-off movie where he just does a bunch of dope shit. And
maybe in the next film, Bond is like the bad guy.
I'd love to see something like that. That's a fucking idea, right?
Like, maybe
they never do it. They never do that. They never have the fucking cojones to do that.
Yeah.
But
No,
to see it from somebody else's perspective,
yeah,
instead of just Bond's perspective, I think that would be
We've
dope.
seen in Skyfall, right, where Javier Bardem's character, who used to be...
they've done this whole thing.
Yeah.
Every third Bond is like a former
used to be
crazy. It's basically it's a recurring thing with Bond. Yeah.
Then I had sex with a coworker, and I was forced to leave the job. Now I'm vengeful. I'm going to take down all of MI5. It's like, sir, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a necessity.
Like, it's called sexual assault. You can't do that in the workplace. Not even at MI5. That's why you lost a job. You're really trying to destroy everything because you did something wrong.
Yeah. That's what did we talk about earlier? That you did the wrong shit, and yet you're trying to fucking act like no, it's all right, guys. It's cool.
Like John Gruden is trying to sue the NFL. Sir, we saw the emails.
Yeah, but his point is that we saw the emails. This is like, probably shouldn't have seen the emails.
Yeah, well, I have the right to be racist in private.
I'm sure that's in some sort of court filings.
It probably is. It probably is. The judge overseeing the case is the judge overseeing the Kyle Rittenhouse case.
Let's move on to our fourth story here. So we're going to talk about. Look, man, we talked a little bit earlier about how much should we know about shit behind the scenes, and I think that. Of either show or movie, and I think this comments by Chris Tucker about why he isn't in the subsequent Friday sequels. I didn't really need to know, I'm not gonna lie, definitely curious, because it's like he was kind of the best part of Friday. I think we can all agree that Smokey, the original Friday, does not work well without Smokey. He just makes every scene better, right? And you really felt sort of, whether him and Ice Cube are actually friends, no fucking idea, but you felt like they were fucking friends. It felt like your homie from down the street, whenever you saw them chop it up. So in a recent interview, he basically says that the reason why he didn't want to play Smokey anymore was because, for one, it was his choice, and then 2, he didn't want to, it was because of all the weed, that he didn't want to become like the weed person. I got some issues with this. I got not issues in terms of like the sentiment of it, but I've got some additional questions, like some follow-up questions here.
Yeah.
Like, one, cat's out of the bag, dude. You played Smokey. Like, it's whether you play Smokey in additional sequels or not, it's Friday's that fucking popular where that ship has fucking sailed. Like I don't know how to tell you this, but we can go back and rewatch the movie. All right, that's how movies work. It's not a one-time thing. We can go back and watch the fucking movie. So for the rest of the time, you're not only going to be Smokey or the character you played on Rush Hour, you're going to be that character. Like we can go back and watch the shit. So okay, that's to me that's weird. But then two, it's like, well, you're telling me you couldn't have gone back to them and worked some sort of story angle where you didn't smoke anymore? Like it'd be fucking hilarious to see Smokey go clean. That would be hilarious in a sequel.
Now, remember at the end of Friday, that's like what happened. He said he's
even though he was like, he kind of was like, I was just fucking with you. Yeah. But still, it'd have been cool to see Smokey go clean, and that'd have been a great storyline.
So for me, I'm gonna try and take myself back to like 1995, right? When
hot time. Yeah. Great year.
Great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. So in 1995 is when First Friday comes out. So I imagine the success of the film in that year, 1996, 1997 rolls around, and they're like, all right, let's do part two, right? I can imagine at that point in time, he was like, you know what? I want to take on other projects, which is what he said in the interview. I wanted to take on other projects. I wanted to do other bigger things, and which is what he went on to do. I mean, after he did Friday, he did Dead Presidents. He did The Fifth Element. He did Money Talks. He did Rush Hour. Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So did he accomplish what he ultimately set out to do? Yes. Did he do it for the right reasons for him at the time? Yes. Now you fast forward to where we are today, whereas now marijuana does not have that stigma that it had back then. But he didn't have the foresight to know that, to where like, even if he played a character who smoked weed, like that wouldn't be a bad thing for him and his image and his career long term. Because now it's like, we don't give a fuck. We got Pineapple Express. We got weed movies left and right. No one looks at, well, I was going to say Seth. Yeah. but again, he's very much like an advocate for it. He's like, this is what I do, right?
Yeah.
He's unapologetic about it. So I think that his reasons make sense when you look at his career and what happened afterwards, right? He went on to become very successful. Who knows? Maybe if he did Rush Hour, if he did another Friday, maybe he wouldn't have been available to do Rush Hour.
Nah, but that's like the curious thing about it is that like Fridays came out like somewhere in the 2000s, right? Like whether it's 2002,
the first movie?
No, the sequels to it.
Yeah, so
99 might have been Rush Friday 2, and then 3 came out maybe a few years later. That was kind of not necessarily post the Chris Tucker sort of timeline, but kind of a little bit post his sort of he's had an odd career in that he had like a run, but it wasn't a long run. Like it was like for the span of like 5 or 6 years, he was in all sorts of movies. Was it More Money Talks or some shit like that? They would do it. Charlie Sheen. I remember he did that along with all the Rush Hour movies. All of those kind of came out in succession. It wasn't like there was like 20 years in between.
Yep.
So
you're right.
It's kind of like, well, why not just at some point wrap this up with a last Friday of the month, you know? And it seems odd, right? That was his. If that was your original thinking, cool. But bro, like you did so much shit up front. At some point in there, you could have been like, all right, fuck it, let's do another Friday. And then on top of that, I'm sure you would have had enough influence to manipulate the storyline so that maybe you're doing some other shit outside of just weed, right? That we got Smoke Dog in the first one, but maybe we see Reform Smoke Dog, and that's like the whole bit is that you're trying to get clean, you know? Which could have been, you could have easily have flipped that script. So it seems like a very odd reasoning, especially with all the time that has passed. Like
true, yeah. One of the things
following that film, yes. Yeah. All these years later, nah.
I didn't realize that Next Friday came out in 2000. I thought it came out sooner. I thought it came out like 98, 99. And in 2000, like I'm just looking at his IMDb. Again, he made the right decision. After Friday, he went on. He did Fifth Element, Money Talks, Dead Presidents. He did Rush Hour, the first Rush Hour movie in 1998, and then Friday 2 came out in 2000. So I'm pretty sure after Rush Hour came out, he's like, you know what, like. This movie was very successful. Like I can do Friday 2 would be even more successful after Rush Hour. But again, like at the time, I don't feel like his decision was probably wrong. He was probably thinking like, I'm going to go on and do bigger and better things.
He was wrong. He was doing what he wanted, but I think that, and people have said this, that his reasoning has changed like over the course of time. Like up front, maybe it might have been about they didn't pay him enough, those type of things. Okay, but it's just like for this specific reason, it seems like a really flimsy reason to not do something that everybody wants to have done. Everybody adores Friday. I just watched it a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and him and Ice Cube had such chemistry. It's just like it was always impossible. Like I appreciate Mike Epps, love Mike Epps as, but it was just never the same. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I'm not faulting him. I'm not being like you're a piece of shit or anything like that. Clearly, like that, it's not that serious. But at the same time, it's kind of just like, I don't know, dude. You're saying something that I don't think is like there's ways around. Like if you actually wanted a way around that, you could have found a way around that.
Yeah,
like,
and even if he signed on to the project, he could have probably dictated like, hey, I'm filming something right now, but like we'll pick this up afterwards.
And I'm sure they would have accommodated. Yeah.
I think he may be able to explain it away all he wants, but I feel like that might be one of the things that, like, in time he ultimately regrets. Like, you know, I had my reasons when I chose not to do the project.
I think he had a successful enough career where I don't think he really will like give a shit. Like, I think he, like, between all the Rush Hour sequels, between Fifth Element, between More Money Talks or Money Talks or whatever, he's had a very
but it is one of those things that will follow him. I feel like, you know, the rest of his career, people are always gonna be like,
but it's
I wish you would have did part 2.
It's sad now, right?
Why didn't you do part 2?
We already lost John Witherspoon, so it's like it's kind of like the window is kind of, and Ezel, I forget the comic's name, he passed just recently.
Yeah, so there's no, you know, they did next Friday after next.
Why I think there's been planning for years to do Last Friday of the Month, which I feel like was the one that they were going to try to bring everybody back for, but it's kind of like everybody's basically like dying off, or just like they're not in a position to be making
and who
films.
knows if Ice Cube is going to get that COVID shot so they can film. He might walk, they may like have the script written and he's just like, I didn't get the shot, and they're like, fuck yeah,
now we gotta kick you off the set of your own
now we gotta get iced tea, you know, and that's just not
gonna nobody will care, right?
It's not the same chemistry.
Same thing. So anyways, I thought that was an interesting story, and I now in for the last story, we can run through this kind of quickly. We have somebody else who's also like, hey, I'm not going to be doing this shit forever. So Tom Holland basically came out with comments that saying like, hey, dude, I don't want to fucking play Spider-Man into my 30s. Like, that just seems unreasonable to me. Right now he's, I think, 25 or 26, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think he's like 25.
25.
Doesn't look it.
No, he still looks like he's fucking teenage.
Could be 18.
Yeah. So I think I respect this differently than I do, because he's at least saying up front, and for one, he's done multiple sequels, but then up front, he's just basically saying like, I don't want to do it because I just don't want to do it. Like, I just want to go do some other shit. I don't, and he talks about, I don't necessarily believe this to be the case, but he talks about, hey, I just want to go do some other shit. Like he talks about perhaps working with his hands and just like building stuff. Or he was like, yeah, I just want to buy like an apartment building and then give it to people or rent it out to people who, are paying way less rent than what you would ordinarily pay for it, because I don't really need the money, that's dope. They'll never let him actually do that, but but it's good that he would want to do that. But I say all that to say is I look at that different than somebody like Chris Tucker, because it just seems like he's just kind of being honest about like his reasoning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and obviously the money thing's probably a little different, right? Like, I'm sure got paid.
The money he's gotten for all the Marvel apperences and Spider-Mans he's made. So he'll be fine.
Chris Tucker's money, right? Especially for that first Friday movie. But it's not like he's like, you know what? I don't know, scheduling conflicts and things, and I don't know, really be only known. It seems like it has less to do with the fact that he'd only be known for Spider-Man and more to do with that he just wants to do other shit.
Also, this comes as no fucking shock.
Yeah,
like no one wants to see you be Spider-Man when you're 30 anyway. Like, the character
apparently you're like, I want to see him when he's all mature, and
I want to see like a college, more of like a colonoscopy. I want to see more of like a college age Spider-Man, like maybe like in towards like graduation, like becoming an adult and like leaving this like this being a student world and like I have real responsibilities now. I don't want to see cutting the grass Spider-Man. Like I don't want to see him that old, like mowing the lawn. Now he's married with 2 kids. Like, damn, do I save the city or do I pick up the kids? I don't want to see that Spider-Man. So yeah, 30 definitely. I think like 25 is the cutoff. Like this is good. Now let's like retell the story in a different way.
Yeah, Disney or Sony, Hollywood is basically like the mafia, right? Like you're not out until we tell you you're out. Okay.
Yeah,
you're
but I think.
You
know what? I feel like they're probably happy he said this. They're like, oh God, we were going to send you we were going to let you know, but thank you for letting us know.
Fuck no. You know how much these Spider-Man movies are making? Well, a clip?
Sure. But again,
fuck that.
It's not really about, the Spider-Man movie is going to do well. Granted, I think Tom Holland has done
about the money,
the best job, but
it's about the money.
Every 3, 4, 5 years, there's always going to be like a new young actor who could like step into the role. That's right.
Can you tell me what Hollywood appreciates more than anything else? Tell me the one thing.
Money. Yeah, I mean we're not.
Well, it's money, but it's
like
also
reprising like storied franchises, right?
Well, it's not just that; it's the guarantee of money, right? Mm-hmm. And if they have a thing that's the reason why Andrew Garfield didn't last as Spider-Man is because the reviews weren't great for him, and also the box office draw wasn't really there for those Spider-Mans, right? Tom Holland, they're making money hand over fist with Tom Holland, right? Fuck no, they didn't want to see him go. Amy Pascal, I think the person who's in charge of shit, I think it's at Sony. Yeah, Sony. Or I guess she's a former Sony boss. She said basically she was like, "Yo, we're gonna make 100 of these bad boys," and Tom Holland was like, "Nope." So there's just no way that they'd wanna on their end be like, "Oh, we'll let you go." Fuck that.
Yeah,
we can bank that. Like we can ship this with a blind. We don't story. Don't need no fucking story over here. Just put a poster up with Tom Holland with half the mask ripped off and fucking shooting spider webs.
Yeah.
Immediately that shit's doing a bill.
It's hard for me to believe that like even Sony or Marvel, whoever the fuck owns the rights to it, in the next 5 years when Tom Holland's 30 would want him to still be in that character, because it's like
I'm confused as to why you're thinking not. Like it's confusing.
I mean, because the story, right, still has to be believable. Like the person playing the character
you just
still
said
has
yourself,
to fit the
Tom
character.
Holland's 25. He could play a 16-year-old right now.
Yeah, but
in fact, half of his roles are
I said 18.
18, 16.
So like in the next 5 years, I just don't think it'll be that believable anymore. Like, he's clearly going to be a lot older. Mary Jane's going to be a lot older. Now they're going to be like, now it's not like, oh, like, are we like kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend? It's like, are we getting married now? Like, what are we doing? Like, we've been doing this for like 7 years. She's going to be like, she's like, I need more commitment. Now they're talking about having kids and shit. Like, it just won't work.
Okay.
It's no longer your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You'll be like your creepy suburbs dad Spider-Man. And no one likes that guy.
Fair enough.
You don't want that.
All right, let's get
this is no surprise.
You're getting weird. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our fucking show. I have no great wrap up for you. Yeah. So with that being said, we appreciate the likes. We appreciate the subscribes. Hit that share button. Share the shit with anybody and everybody. We appreciate you. With that, we'll hit the usual protocol.
Fade out.
Peace.